smoke break song. Lunch lady, smoke break song. She doesn't like them to be alone. That's just the way it's gonna be. So what are y'all into? Hey Richie, have you drank a few? I drank a few too, back in '93. This is a Pete dance song. Everybody better be getting on. Sit on the pot and pee, even if you have a wee. This is the beefcake song. He needs coffee for his drive to be gone from the house so he can make some money. This is an Aussie song. Everyone just sing along. We'll sing hey true blue and green with the cooey. This is a British song. It's a quite proper song. We will all go mad unless you sing along. Okay, that's long enough for our professional smoker. Come back to your chat, great host Leanie. Hotbox that cigarette. Your song is over yet? My words I'm starting to forget because we don't ever sleep. Hit the like chicken, LL Cool Mom out. I'll be one ticking, LL Cool Mom out. Come on. Hotbox, this is an Aussie song. Everyone just sing along. We'll sing hey true blue and green with the cooey. This is a British song. It's a quite proper song. We will all go mad unless you sing along. Okay, that's long enough for our professional smoker. Come back to your chat, great host leading. Hot off that cigarette. Your song is over yet? My words I'm starting to forget because we don't ever sleep. Hit the like chicken, LL Cool Mom out. Hope you want chicken, LL Cool Mom out. How? Hotbox. That's the only words I'm starting to forget because we don't ever sleep. Hit the like chicken, LL Cool Mom out. Whoa, come on.
Hello everyone. Can you hear me okay? Let me know please. Hopefully. Am I on stage? Here we go again. Let me see where I am. Can anyone hear me? I think I need to take that picture off, don't I? How does that picture stay on? Oh God, here we go. Bear with me everyone. Hope you can hear me anyway. Let's see. Background. Is that a background? Oh, good God. Hold on, everyone. I haven't got a clue what I'm doing. See if you can, is that, so there I am. Okay, can everyone hear me? All loud and clear. Thanks, Liz. I'll put that picture back up until we get Leanie in and see where we go. Okay. Is everyone ready? God, I've been listening to little bits and pieces on both sides. Oh, tell you what though, I'm tired tonight. I was falling asleep and Leanie's not long woke up, so she'll be probably getting herself together. Hi, Sean. Good to see you, love. Hope you're okay. Let's see who's in anyway. Let's have a look. Let me scroll up. Lizzo, all right, girl. I've been listening to that bit of that panel what I sent you Aisha, Wild Angel, good to see you, love. So who's in? There's only 3 of us. Is it Sean, Lizzo, and Wild Angel? Yeah, there's only 3 of us. JB is busy at the minute. She's got workmen in, so she said she'll be in and out tonight. Don't know about Lunch Lady, whether she's working. As I say, I haven't got a clue what time. Let's see what time it is. So it's 8:30 here. 8. Oops, I'm getting a call. Do you know what? Can you just bear with me for 5 minutes? I'll just put some music on. Hang on. Bear with me, everyone. Sorry about this. Oh, I'll have to call back. I'm in a funeral tomorrow, so I know what it's about. So we need to call her back. So I'll just put this on and I'll be back in 2.
Yeah. This is a smoke break song, or it might be a coffee song. Just everyone sing along. Go and take a pee. This is a smoke break song. Lunch lady's smoke break song. She doesn't write them to be alone. That's just the way it's gonna be. So what are y'all into? Hey Richie, have you drank a few? I drank a few too, back in '93. This is a Pete dance song. Everybody better be getting on. Sit on the pot and pee, even if you have a wee. This is the beefcake song. He needs coffee for his drive to be gone from the house so he can make some money. This is an Aussie song. Everyone just sing along. We'll sing hey true blue and green with the cooey. This is a British song. It's a quite proper song. We will all go mad unless you sing along. Okay, that's long enough for our professional smoker. Come back to your chat, great host Leanie. Hot box that cigarette. Your song is over yet? My words I'm starting to forget because we don't ever sleep. Hit the like chicken, LL Cool Mom out. I'll be one ticking, LL Cool Mom out. Come on. Everyone just sing along. We'll sing hey true blue and green with the cooey. This is a British song. It's a quite proper song. We will all go mad unless you sing along. Okay, that's long enough for our professional smoker. Come back to your chat, great host leading. Hot box that cigarette. Your song is over yet? My words I'm starting to forget because we don't ever sleep. Hit the like chicken, LL Cool Mom out. Hope you want chicken, LL Cool Mom out. How?
Hello, sorry about that. Another funeral. Can you believe it? How many funerals have I been to since the beginning of this year? It's been awful, hasn't it? Is anyone else coming anyway? I don't think so. Still only 3 of us here. Well, I don't know what's happened. I don't know whether Godlini hasn't put it on a post, has she? That she's not coming on, or it's being cancelled or anything, because I don't see anyone's posts. I don't see. Does anyone know? Lizzo, do you know? I know she's not. She mustn't know what time it is because I got a message saying she's just woke up. I said I'm falling asleep and she's just woke up because it's 20 to 9 here now. I'm only in bed at 10 o'clock. I haven't seen anything. No, I don't know what's happened. I'll give it I'll give it 10 minutes and I'll go and get it and see what's happening. So what does everyone think of that hearing yesterday? I was on pins at one point. I thought he was going to go along with them when they were saying they didn't want, the plan of the house, the model. They were saying now, sort of making out that it's been a bit sneaky the way it's been done. Hang on a minute, I just have to give Alec a wave. He's got noise on and I can hear everything. Hold on. Sorry about that. It was coming out of his phone. He didn't hear a thing. He's got headphones on. I was getting annoyed with the judge interrupting defence all the time. Oh my God. Well, one point, as I said, I looked over at the judge and I'm thinking, oh, he's going to go for this here. I really thought he was going to go. But can you believe that she's took another death penalty case on? Couldn't believe that. She's saying, I haven't got the time and I haven't got this and I'm like, well, hold on. What did you? If I was Coburg, I'd be going mad at here now, saying you've took another death penalty case on. Don't you think it's awful? And what else was there? And yet they didn't want the model as well. See, I said I didn't believe that they should have got rid of the house. I think they should have kept the house up. But then Leanie made me see the other side and how much affected the people on the in the university is going to be affected by it. But then I heard it's not actually on the university, is it? The university site. It's just off campus. But it's easy to say, isn't it? We haven't got to walk past it every day. But part of me thinks, yeah, they should have left it up. I mean, how many other places is there being murders and they've left it up for the jury and blah 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 to go in and have a look, regardless of what people feel. But I don't know. I've got very mixed emotions about that one. I think it should have been kept standing. Yeah, I do. And then when Leanie starts talking and then tells me, and then I think, oh, yeah, yeah. But I think more so it should have been kept up than anything. What about you, Sean? What do you think? What do you think, Wild Angel? Hiya, JB. All evidence is now gone. There is no redo. They can't take jury to see it. So do you agree? Hang on, I'm read. I thought that was JB's. I'll be around, but I have workers here remodeling. So hi to everyone now. We'll be back. I told them all, JB, you were busy at the moment. You're being in house. So hello, two chicks in a pond. Nice to see you. How you feeling? Come on in. Two chicks in a pond. Oh my God, that's a blast from the past, isn't it? Heard that one for ages. Hey, let's hope it is two chicks in the pond. Oh, it is. Good to see everyone. Thanks for being here. There's only 3 of us here, Lee. Doesn't matter, does it? It doesn't matter. 4 likes. Ooh, I haven't even liked it yet. We can't like it, can we? We have to go into YouTube. Never mind. Never mind. Let me have a swig of my coffee. So yeah, what else? So I didn't realise, I said to Leanie, I didn't realise that was so long, that hearing. Now tell me this, was there another hearing today? Because when I come on this YouTube about 20 minutes ago, 25 minutes ago, I heard them all talking about the second hearing that was on today. So someone said, hold on, I seen a hearing yesterday, but I didn't know there was one on today. And they said, yeah. So was there? Hi, Joyce. Hang on. I can't even see where it says there's 7 people watching. It says I can't see anything else. I don't know where you look for likes or anything on here. I've got a clue. But there's 7 people watching. Through the link. All right, Gail, hold on and I'll throw it. Give me a minute. There you go, chicken. I'm going to delete that now. No one can get it. What a crock of shite. I don't believe they are here. Who's here? Oh, hang on. There you go, darling. Let me delete this. Probably won't even matter, will it? But if I delete it, well, it will. Oh, they're there, are they? I wish. God, imagine that. And if there was, we'd never get near them, put it that way. I do believe they've got them. They've got some type of beds, but we'll never get them. It's all the elite. They're the ones that'll get them. Do you think he did or not, Joyce? I think at first I wasn't sure. I thought he did, and then I went over to no, he didn't. And then when I was in here and I was listening to the live and all the evidence and the in-betweens and all that, I was like, oh my God, he did. He's done it. But I've just been on a channel over there and there's two sides, which it's good, it's good debate going on. Because you learn by that, don't you? Because like I've said to Lainey over a few cases now, I don't think, and then like the Delphi, she followed it from day one, and she was like, no, Max, this and that, and I thought that it only just happened, and she said no, it's been going on years. So when I heard that, I was like, oh my God, but I do think that he's guilty. What about you, Joyce? Are you lunch lady? You driving, Gail? Who's gonna drive me home tonight? I'm worried still that he's going to get off with it because of evidence is circumstantial. Well, I got a little bit worried yesterday. I'll be honest. I thought, oh my God, he's going to get off. And this, what is it? Oh God, what's it called? Autism. Now they're playing on that. If I had autism, I'd be well insulted. And the way he's just sitting there, like not moving and playing the part of like, I've never seen anyone with autism act like that. Autism act like that. No,
Shit, I didn't know I was muted. I was like, why can't y'all hear me? What am I doing wrong?
that's normally me. Do you think he was with someone else? Well, that's
No,
to say now.
no.
No, he went in a frenzy.
Yeah, he went. There's absolutely not one shred of evidence that shows anybody else to have been a part of the crime. And you know what I think would be a good thing to do is when we did that live and we talked about the different cases that were given the links to, where it showed that how old was the kid that went in and killed two people, didn't leave a shred of evidence.
I never heard of that one.
Yeah, I did. I showed these different where people were saying, I don't understand how he got out without any DNA and stuff in there. And then I ended up giving, there was like 4 different cases that were done that shows one perpetrator committing, and one was really young, Lizzo. I can't remember what it was. Maybe it was a 15-year-old or something, killed those 2 people, not a drop of evidence. It was all circumstantial. And then they gave another case where 4 people were killed by one person, not a drop of evidence was left. And it's,
I know how old was he, Lee? 19?
I think the one that killed the 2 people was a 15-year-old boy.
Oh my God. Wow. So Lizzo's saying there she's been looking at the 4 lads that were out and about that night and had beef with Ethan and bragged that it only took them 19 minutes. Which only took them 19 minutes? Because they didn't know about the murders then, did they?
I don't know
So,
what 4 lads we're talking about either because he was with Xana the whole night.
but he wouldn't have known about the murders, would he? Then,
N
because
no,
the
but I
murders, like,
think
didn't go then, because Ethan was there.
yeah, I think she's talking about, though, not the other 3 that were killed with Ethan. I think she's talking about 4 separate type
I
dudes.
know, that's what I mean. Different lads. There was
Oh, okay.
those lads that were out and about that night. I don't know whether it was the ones the cops stopped. If it's them she means, I don't know. They said it would take 19 minutes to go do the crime and get back. But when
Huh.
did they say that? If they were saying that to Ethan, how come they said that and it hadn't even took place?
Hmm.
Oh,
JB says, "Yeah, but college students get mad and fight and do social media bullying, but they don't kill like this just because they're mad. As far as the earlier fight, kids are always fighting with
oh
someone,
God,
right?
yeah,
Right.
yeah, yeah.
Um, I think y'all, so I went to bed last night at 9 o'clock. Freaking sleep
Hiya,
issues again.
sunshine.
Hi, sunshine.
Oh, I'm the same, Lee. Me and you are on the same par right now, then.
Yeah, but I woke back up at 1 o'clock this morning and I was
Yeah.
like, I'm not doing this. And so I went back to
Mm,
bed thinking, I would just cook myself. No, I laid there and I thought and I thought and I thought. And I finally was like, fuck it.
mm.
I can't sleep. So I got back up at 3 and I came in
That's
here and,
perfect.
tried to get little girl to drink and eat and do all the things that I do. Um, and anyways, I ended up staying up until 11 and I still didn't think I was tired. I was like, damn, I know I have to get some sleep before we do this live. And and then I woke back up at 3. So I did get 4 full hours, but I'm gonna tell you why it was, and this is off topic. And I hate doing this when we have a live scheduled and we're all like in the zone of maybe just remind me later to tell you guys about the dream. It was a trip. It was a trip. I don't wanna
Mm.
get everybody thinking about something else when we're, zeroing in on, what this live is about. Eliza said they saw the light go out at the house and could see the house from Sigma Chi
I
bedroom.
told you that, didn't I, Lainey? There's somewhere that you
Mhm.
see as them lads are getting questioned, you see the light from the house going out. I did see that.
Yeah, and in the beginning, so the kids that were pulled that were the cops walked up on, um out there, Sigma Chi, we did show that whole video here on one of the lives as well. It's the one where I said, "Well, here you go, you pro burgers that believe you didn't do it, somebody else did it." This kid is wearing Vans, and they're saying that the late the latent print that was left outside Dylan's door was, that of what looked like to be Vans. Just joking around, I said that. And the reason why I said it like that is because in the early days of all of this happening, when that body camera footage got released from the kids walking across from a party going back to the Sigma Chi house, a lot of people everybody was like, "Oh, they must have been these are the killers right here." Well, the killing hadn't even happened yet because we know Xana was on, um TikTok at
Yeah.
4:12. We also know that the DoorDash didn't come until at least 4 o'clock, so they were awake for that, or Xana was up for that. And then that body cam footage was like, an hour and 15, hour and 25 minutes prior to these kids being completely inebriated, and they did a sobriety test on them, and they all got, well, the 21-year-olds did not there were 2 21-year-olds in the group of 3, did not get citations because they're old enough to be drunk. But the 20-year-old, 19 or 20-year-old, I forget how old he was, that was actually wearing the Vans, he did get cited for for underage drinking.
She had that, yeah.
Yeah, and then there was a guy walking alone that didn't get cited either because he was of age, but we have the audio, the video, and the timestamps on that, and that was before the murders happened. Now you can say, well, the guys obviously went to Sigma Chi and then they came back and then they murdered them and then they went back to Sigma Chi. I mean that could be thrown out there, but you literally cannot, cite. I mean, the cops on the videos specifically say, they're challenging them because one was like, "Yeah, I only had 2 beers." Yeah, and the
Mm,
cop was like, "Dude, you're over 21, you can drink into oblivion, there's nothing we can do about it." So you could tell
yeah.
the truth. Well, it comes out that they all had about 8, you know what I mean? So they were smashed, you guys. They didn't all of a sudden sober up and then go back and kill 4 people. So I think we have to.
I never ever give it a minute that they were the murderers.
Oh, yeah, it
No.
came out in
Yeah,
the beginning, and in the beginning, before we ever heard the name Koberger, we're just looking for
yeah.
anything, and we didn't have a timeline to go on about that, so anybody was a suspect at that time,
Mm,
even to me, and, but I think knowing everything that we know now, when if you are going back and you're looking at things and it's ringing a bell to you, you gotta combat it with what you already know, and so
mm.
we do know that those kids were the
I
cops
just
talked
knew,
to
like,
them.
they were hiding from the police 'cause some of them were underage. I
Yeah,
never ever
sure.
honestly thought it'd be them. I don't know why. I just
Yeah,
didn't.
sure.
But,
Sure, I mean, it's what
at
kids do.
first, you're right. We were looking at all kinds. Everyone was suspicious, that fella that lived behind. I thought it was him. Yeah, Joyce, we know. We heard that the other day. Is she definitely with him? We heard she's
Yeah,
pregnant as well.
mhm. Lizzo says,
Whether
"We have
that's
no
true.
we have no evidence that Xana was on TikTok or that she was the one ordering DoorDash that could have been to cover up." Correct, but the police already talked to the DoorDash driver, and got his exact times and, because they have to take a picture of the DoorDash, that it's been delivered now.
Will you get up, Lainey?
And
Will you be a
yes, he will.
witness?
Yeah, he will have to testify. So,
Yeah,
yeah, I think that, I mean, obviously right now we have no concrete evidence that there was a DoorDash driver or that it actually delivered to Xana.
yeah.
But we do know for sure that, because it's in the PCA, that the DoorDash driver came at this certain time because
Mm.
Xana had ordered it. So, um,
I even thought
there's
it could
that.
be him.
Yeah, a lot of people did think. I never thought it was the DoorDash driver. I
Yeah,
don't know why I
I did.
didn't,
Yeah.
but
Same as
I
me
know
with
a
them
lot of
lads.
people
You just
did.
don't know, do you? You
Yeah,
just have that feeling.
you're just side eyeing everybody.
Mm.
Everybody, like, oh well, Um, so yeah, that guy is actually gonna have to testify just to the fact, uh, not that the DoorDash has anything to do with murders, but it does have to do with timeline.
So, Lainey, can you explain? Because I don't know all these terms. Over this autism, when she was putting it to the judge, and she was saying, "Well, you be the first one to do it. Make a change." What's happening over that? What have they decided? Have they decided
I'm
anything?
sorry, I
Oh,
my brain
just
checked out for a minute. What did you say?
my phone just come on its own.
I'm telling you,
Oh,
Big Brother's listening. Can't get away with shit.
cops make horrific discovery. It's on a podcast. Go on, carry on, Lee. Sorry.
It's okay. I didn't know what you had asked me. My
It's yesterday when they were bringing up about the autism and saying, the jury need to know, they need to be told,
Yeah, they
and
wanna do it in the opening statements. Mhm.
they were using all these terms, and I don't really understand a lot of the terms. So
Mhm.
what have they decided on that? What did
They
the judge
didn't.
say about it?
The judge said that he would take it under
Oh,
counsel, meaning that we're gonna have to wait for Listen,
Oh,
I see
that's
no
right. You told
reason
me that,
I
didn't you?
see absolutely no reason for them to be given paperwork on what they're going to hear. I agree with that. I just don't think that I mean, in the state is the one that's wanting to do that. They're wanting to play the full 911, and then they're wanting to give them a printout of what's being said. I just don't think that's necessary. Um,
Mm.
I just don't
I
because
think they're gonna get their own way. Lately, I think it's good they're gonna do it.
I
I
don't
think it's fair.
I don't think the judge is going to
Yeah.
allow that paperwork to be handed out because it's hearsay. We all hear things
Mm,
differently in a 911. That's why we have these panels, these lives because, one person was hearing one thing, another person, we just kept going back over
yeah,
it until we actually heard a scream and then we figured out what they were saying. So we all hear something differently. What's being transcribed um, from that 911 call is hearsay. It doesn't mean that's what they're saying. So I see no need at all, I think it's very bold. Well, since when have you ever heard of a jury being handed handouts? No,
mm,
let them listen to the evidence and make up their own mind. They'll go back in there and they'll say, "Hey," they'll call out and say, "Hey, we want to hear the 911 tape a couple more times." And then
yeah,
they'll work together like we work together. You know what I mean?
mhm,
So, I mean, a lot of the stuff that we heard on the 911 transcript, it wasn't even transcribed. The scream of Xana's name in the background, that was not transcribed. So
yeah.
we worked together to figure all that out. They'll do the same.
Oh God, I hope it's not gonna get adjourned.
Okay, so I was thinking about that a lot last night too. You guys were
Oh,
fucked, and let me tell you why.
oh no.
This jury's gonna have to be sequestered, which means they're not gonna be able to leave. They're gonna be able to go to court, back to the hotel room,
Oh
have
yeah,
as minimal contact with everybody, with the TV, with radio, with phones, with all of the things. Y'all, if they put it off until August, I mean, not August, like I was saying last
October.
night, I thought it would be about October. I got to thinking, Thanksgiving is a month after that. After
Oh,
that, a month is Christmas. They're not going to
oh no.
sequester a jury during the two major holidays of our country. They're just
Oh,
not. So now we have to look at maybe spring
oh my
of
God.
2026. So exactly a year from now is
Oh,
the earliest I would think, because why put it off for a month? What's a month gonna do? I mean, they could put it off for a month and say, "All right, you got 4 more weeks. Get done what you're gonna get done, and we'll start in September." Well, that's still September, October, November. That's still going into the Thanksgiving holiday
yeah,
that you are basically telling, all these people, "Hey, you can't go home to your families." It's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. I think the judge should rip her a new asshole and say, "Look, you need to look, you're telling me that you can't get your job done, but yet you picked up another death penalty case.
yeah,
You have to be working that case as well." I mean, you didn't tell those people, "Yeah, I'll pick up your case, but you're gonna have to wait for me to work on it till I get this Brian Koberger one." That's not the way things work. She's got
no,
people in her office already working the other death penalty case. I think you should rip her an asshole and just say,
yeah.
"Look, you need to
Hope
let
doesn't
one
give
of
it.
them go. You need
Yeah,
to let one you can't get the work done that you've had going for
it's
two
took
and a
on.
half years.
Yeah,
So how can you look at these families, look at Brian Koberger in the face and tell him and, me, the judge, that, "Your Honor, I just don't have time to make this happen by deadlines." Well, but you took on another case, you dumb bitch. You can't have your cake and eat it too. Get your ass busy on what you've already got your hands in. I think he should do that, and I'm sorry, I think he should just stick to the deadline. I don't think he will. I'll be
I hope so.
surprised. I will be
I don't think
surprised.
I think they're gonna get their own way.
Yeah, I will be surprised because what who wants to what judge wants to hear, "Well, you're the reason why Brian Koberger got a guilty verdict because you didn't give the defense long enough to go through all the evidence. I mean, he's
But they
no
did have
matter
the
what.
time, didn't they?
Right, right. People like us that realize how long the case has gone on for, we didn't find out till yesterday she took on another case. If the judge
Yeah,
hadn't have said that, we wouldn't have known. So tell me how many cases, and I'm not talking about death penalty case, any case, whether it's a freaking ticket somebody's trying to get out of. How many cases has this bitch had since she's had the Brian Koberger case?
yeah,
Does that have something to do with why she's not getting through all this shit when the state has already gone through it all?
yeah,
The document load that they're talking about, the discovery that they're talking about, that's 100 and something pages. That was handed to her 2 years ago, and you tell me you haven't gotten through that
yeah.
yet? Something's
I know,
wrong.
exactly.
Something's wrong.
She's trying
So,
to stall as much as she can.
well, right, it's more money. It keeps Brian
She does, yes.
Koberger out of prison.
Mhm.
Um, it makes
And she's
people
not
forget.
refusing work.
Yeah.
She's still getting wanting money.
Yeah. Lizzo says, "We have no evidence." Okay, and then she says, "I believe there was a DoorDash, but someone could have ordered it using her phone." Right. I completely concur with that. That is why, like I said, that DoorDash driver is going to uh, have to
Testify.
testify because he's going to have to give a timeline. And then did Xana meet I mean, we have to meet here in Indiana, we have to meet our DoorDash drivers. We're supposed to meet them at the door. If not, we at we at least see them driving away so they see us. You know, if it's taking too long or they see us at the door trying to move the dogs so we can get out
Yeah.
the door. You know what I mean?
Or did he just leave it on the porch then?
Usually they try to get in contact with you and they text you. They
Yeah.
always text you and say, "We're we're
Wait,
here," or "We're
oh,
down the street," you know, so in other words, come outside or come to the door. And that's that. So I think that I know for sure he'll testify as to the timeline, and hopefully he saw Xana as he either handed it to Xana or being the one who picked up the food from the porch. She shouldn't be able to take on another one. Well, Joyce, I completely concur with that. If that was my family member, I'd be up in arms. Believe you me, I'd have every media source on that. Bitch would let go of that other one and tend to my son. That's what would that's what would be happening because you're telling us you don't have enough time. Well, you've been saying this since way back in Latah County in front of Judge John Judge. And he was like, "Look, it basically is like, you we're this is already set out all the way to 2025 probably or something like that." He said, "I think you will have plenty of time to go through this case." And he said, you're well qualified. Um you have defended murder trials before." She's just doing everything she can to get the DP taken off because she she told the judge flat out, "If you will remove the death penalty case, I can 100% say we're ready to go to trial."
yeah. She did, Jack. See?
So they're pulling everything they can. She knows there's absolutely no evidence, none, zero, anywhere. There's barely evidence on Brian Koberger being in the house. There's no evidence of another person being involved in this. And remember, Brian Koberger is not a team player. Um, he doesn't have friends. He wants to be an authority figure. Uh in all of his classes, he even acts like he's smarter than the teacher. I
Mm.
just don't see him having a friend that he's going to be
Well,
able to
who's this
manipulate.
Ray? Raymond or Mr. Ray or whatever
Cy
Who?
Ray.
Cy
That
Ray?
so he's hold on, let me see if that's little girl drinking. She's driving me crazy, Maggie. Nope, it's
Oh.
not her. Um, he's actually he's never worked with a defense. He's always been a prosecution witness. Always been a prosecution expert witness. And this is what I heard Nancy Grace, because I had never heard of him until this case. Nancy Grace was talking about him, and she said she's the one that I found out that he's never worked with the defense, and now all of a sudden he's working with the defense. And it's because the state went to him first and gave him some files and said, look, we need you, to find out if there's any way to figure out, where Brian was during the hours that his phone was cut off. Well, he made up some kind of weird thing, and the state was like, that's bullshit. That's not possible. It's just not possible. And anyways, they were just like, we don't need your services anymore. Well, then he also has ego. So he and the defense heard about this. So then he started working with the defense. And the defense is going on. You can clearly tell just from listening to what was happening yesterday. The defense is scrambled. I mean, I'm going to have to call that other lady that you guys know I don't like next to Ann Taylor, the dark-headed one that I think is totally
Oh,
a
yeah.
disrespectful bitch.
Yes, she is. She's very rude.
I'm going to have to call her Taylor Shabusiness, you guys, because now, mind you, I'm not zooming in. I'm on a computer, so I'm seeing as far away as what you would see on a screen. And even though I wear glasses, I need to get new ones. It still distorts facial
They are
faces.
though, Lynn. You can't see the faces clearly.
Right, but you could definitely see her smiling.
Oh,
This
yeah.
odd, weird, creepy smile the whole fucking time. And all I see is Taylor Shabusiness sitting there, you guys. So I'm now calling her Taylor Shabusiness, okay? Which is some crazy bitch. Y'all,
We'll know who you're talking about.
she attacked another lawyer just this last week. Anyways, that's another story.
Oh, she
But
did?
yeah, but that's another story, Maggie. Look it
Go
up.
on.
Anyways, so to
I
me,
thought they were saying he had a witness, and the judge said, "Well, why is this only come out now? How can he
what are
have
we
been
talking
with him?"
about?
I'm talking about Koberger. I'm sure they said they had a witness, and he said, "Well, how could the witness be? Can he prove that he was with him at this time, that time?"
Wouldn't that be an
Or am I
alibi?
making it up in my brain?
I
No, I thought they said they had a witness.
They had a witness that Koberger was somewhere or in the house, or
That he was somewhere. He seen him, so he was with him at such a time. I don't know. Leonie, see, my brain can't take it in, but I could swear I've sat here all day thinking I can't wait to ask, and I've just remembered to ask you. So it was not a mention that he had a witness. So I thought he said his name was Ray or Mr. Raymond or something
no,
like that.
no. The only Ray I know is Cy Raymond or
No,
Miss,
no. Well, I've
because
I've I've
and
made it
he
up my
would be
brain.
a
Then I must have
witness.
dreamed it.
He would be a witness but what he's a witness to, well, he would be a witness. We don't know how reliable, because this is the first time, y'all. It's like Nancy Grace said,
So what
he'll
though?
never, ever, ever work with a prosecution again. He fucked up um when they discredited him. So, and then he went straight to the defense. What he's supposed to be witness to and expert to is that Brian can be accounted for even though the phone is off.
Yeah, that was it. Yeah. Okay.
So he would be a witness to that. And that's when the prosecution was like, you're full of shit. There's
Yeah.
no way. Because they don't just have him, they're not putting all their eggs in his basket.
Yeah.
They have got other witnesses too,
Mhm.
but they're trying to get as many of them together, get their thoughts together, get their, get how
Yeah.
they view it, their proof of it, and then they could pick the one that best represents or best talks about it and put that person on the stand. But they could put in there, look, we've done our research here, here, and here, which is what they're doing, and that's why they let him go.
Yeah.
But um if you listen to Taylor Shabusiness, just her arguing, I don't know if you guys got to listen to the morning session yesterday.
Leonie was the one today
I think I don't know. I don't know,
because
Maggie.
I came
I
on
knew there
and I
was
heard there was a few channels discussing it, and I was like, oh, and I
were they
said, and
discussing what happened yesterday?
no, someone said, oh my God, was it on again today? And they said, yeah, day 2 on some of people's panels. It's got day 2.
Because I
It
thought
said,
that it was on Tuesday and Wednesday, but Tuesday was closed hearing.
well, I don't know. I thought I have seen it on the lives, and I went in one of the groups, and they said about the hearings that it was on today.
I mean, it could have been. I don't know. I've been out of it. I don't know. I thought it was Tuesday and Wednesday because that's what I put out to you guys last week.
Yeah.
And then Tuesday was closed hearings. And then yesterday was all open hearings. But I could have got it mixed up that yesterday was open
I
hearings and
don't
today
know.
could have been closed. I don't know. I don't know. Because the way that he sounded when he closed it out yesterday was that, he's gonna go back and the stuff that
Yeah.
he did not rule on,
Oh.
all those motions, he was gonna, look up case law and different stuff like that, and he would put it in writing to him, so we'll get it in files. I don't know, though. I'll look it up and find out, or you could look it up and just see
Yeah.
real quick and present it.
Hold on. Let me have a look.
I'm not in front of chat right now, you guys. I'm watching my dog Wrench. That's another story for another day,
Just
though.
bear with me.
Maggie's gonna pull that up. I don't know if anybody saw it, but did you guys get a chance to look or watch yesterday's morning session? Because we didn't go live until basically the midsection, right? Or not mid, like late morning. Where Taylor Shabusiness was actually fighting with the judge. I couldn't fucking believe it. Fighting with the judge over um, um, a law. And all I kept hearing them say was the law number 404. And so the judge listened to her talk about it, her motion as to why they wanted something struck, because law 404 says this. And he said, wait a second, I think you're misinterpreting the law. That's not what the law means. And so then he gives an example, and then she gives another example, and he listens to her. And then he's like, counsel, you have no understanding of the law, of what that law. And that's just the way that it seems like to me through a lot of this defense stuff, is that there's so much of the law. And I mean, when you have to tell a lead um lawyer in a death penalty case, why don't you go and talk to this judge and get 5 more paralegals to help you? And then she's like, well, yes, I can do that, judge. You dumb cunt. You should have thought about that yourself. You get paid the big bucks to be this man's lawyer from tax money, and a judge has to tell you how to handle not being able to get through all your case notes, and that you should not have taken on another death penalty case if you're struggling to get this one defended. I mean, come on, these people are acting like they're defending a high schooler, you know what I mean, who stole something out of a locker. It's ridiculous. And the argumenting that's going on with the judge, it just it blows me away. And why does it take, maybe it's a woman thing, that it takes the freaking defense 40 minutes to talk about why they want something omitted from court, and then it takes the state 5 minutes to say, real quick, Your Honor, and this is what we want. Why? Hello, Maggie? I don't know if you guys can hear me. I'm not even in
Sorry,
chat.
Lee, you're
It's
on.
okay.
Yeah, I can hear you. I was just,
Okay.
I can't find any more dates, but there's just, there's one there. I don't know whether it's not dates. It's just about, I hang on, if I click on it, I'm scared if it says it just say hearing could set rules for evidence and other details in the case. If you want to hear that, I don't know.
Is that
Say
I'm sorry, go ahead.
no, it's just a WKYC channel.
So are they talking about a future hearing, or are they talking
I
about
think they're talking about what happened yesterday, what
yeah.
rules are now what could come into place.
So
I
I think
think,
yesterday was day 2, and everybody is doing lives on it because they've had time to put together maybe everything they heard and put together
yeah,
a live on it, or instead of streaming it live and going through it
yeah,
like that and then doing a discussion group,
mhm,
the next day on it. So maybe that's
yeah,
what was happening. I don't know. I don't know, but
yeah.
I could swear that they said on Tuesday they had closed hearings.
It's probably what you said. It was day 2 yesterday. It's just with the
Yeah,
girl going, "Oh my God, has it been on again today? I only seen it yesterday." So
yeah.
I thought, "Oh, shit."
Yeah, and then I don't know why, but a lot of people, even creators, didn't realize they had to go to, it wasn't gonna be streamed on Court TV, which is where we can stream most of
Mm,
our court hearings on, like, a anything, but in this case, he's streaming from the courthouse, so you actually have to go and stream from their page, which I think is lovely. I love it. There's no shit at all.
mhm,
And
yeah,
I'm all for that because I don't there's no reason why we need to put cameras in family members' faces right now.
no.
There's no reason why
So, you know, the way the cameras was, sorry for interrupting, Leanie,
go ahead.
when we watched it yesterday on the course, is that what way they'll be?
Yeah, so
The
when
same?
yeah, that's exactly where the court cameras are. That's what we're gonna see.
Yeah,
One will be on the judge, one on the defense table, one on it'll be just like
yeah,
the Murdaugh case was a lot like this, but you actually saw theirs was, like, straight down the middle. But the Travis Alexander case was like this, as well as the Letitia Staunch case. They streamed from the courtroom, so they had them,
yeah,
like that, and I think that's so much better because, well, they did it later in when they realized that whoever was whatever way the court was streaming, they were
mm,
streaming wrong because they left that image up of Gannon on the
yeah, you
screen
said,
for a
yeah.
long time, and
Oh,
all of us were screaming in chat,
I
"Oh my
watched that
god."
one.
Not that I
I
didn't love it
I
because I
watched that,
am
but I didn't see that staying up.
yeah, it was
What was
bad.
his name? What was his first name?
Gannon
Gannon. Oh, the
Stout.
little boy.
Yeah,
Oh,
Gannon Stout,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
So
yeah.
there's so much. I let's jump in chat and see what chat is saying. I'm finally getting back to the
All
computer.
even the police that are doing their channels, the ex-cops and that, they're looking into will Hitler deliver justice in the Coburger trial? Oh,
Mhm.
it's everyone's on it now. You said that, didn't you? You
Yeah.
started, everyone's on it.
Yeah, well, I mean, some people stick with certain cases and they'll ride it out. They know, but some people get disinterested because they know it's going to be 3 years at least before we start seeing some serious movement in the case, and not
Yeah.
and then people get disinterested because other cases pop up that don't take
Mm,
that long. I mean, we've had, the Leilani Simon trial. I mean, I can't
yeah.
think. We had that trial in and out before, and there's different trials that go on really, really fast, and then there's these ones that just, and then people, whenever things start moving in the courts and there's more to talk about, that's when people will jump on them. So, um, yeah, I knew that would happen. And then
Mm,
I knew, I mean, if you look at the court filings of, because they've already distributed they've already given the timeline of different court dates that are going to be happening
is
all the
that
way
what
up
I
to
sent you?
jury. Yeah, and I have
Yeah,
seen that all the
yeah.
way up to jury selection. And and now's the time. If you That's why I wanted to do these weeks up leading up to this, and starting from the beginning again and going over things, because um if you don't understand what all happened in the beginning, then you start the whole process again of like what's happening now. Maybe there was somebody else or other people that helped Brian commit this murder, when that has already all been taken care of. um I mean, we've already gone over that, you know what I mean? And it's already
Mhm.
been. The only reason Ann Taylor is bringing it up now is because she's grasping, she's reaching for any she's not trying to get this guy out uh of a murder trial because she knows he's guilty. All she can do now, and even Judy Ron said it way back in the day. Like he was just like, or Ed Wallace actually said it. He said, all they can do now is try, and they're going to try so hard with even the ridiculous stuff to get the death penalty taken off because this guy is so guilty.
Yeah.
And and he was right. I mean, that's not something
Mm.
I came up with. But this is an investigator that has done, these homicides. He still does it. He travels around the world. And when he said it, I was like, I'm going
Yeah.
to pay attention. I'm going to pay attention. And that's exactly what they're doing. The most
Mm.
So even though, it's pretty much been, to me, in my mind, proven that there was, what the fuck? Fucking coffee. Sorry, guys. I'm doing 50 things here. Even though in my mind it's been proven that Brian acted alone and just his egotism and things like that, um, that wouldn't allow for him to act with somebody else. Um, if you haven't been paying attention, you wouldn't. Uh, those are legit things to bring up, but they've already been covered. You know. That's just
Yeah.
my take on it. I could be wrong. I'm willing to be wrong, but it's like I never followed. I'm probably the only person that's interested in true crime that has not followed the Summer Wells case. When that thing came out, and what's his name? Um, whoa! Y'all can't think. I don't have enough coffee in me
Nancy
yet.
Grace?
Yeah,
No.
but what's his
Yeah.
name?
Jolly Vision?
No,
No.
Nancy Grace's friend that we always make fun of, the interview room.
Oh,
Whoa, whoa,
Chris
whoa.
McDonough.
Yeah,
Chris
Chris McDonough.
McDonough.
When Chris McDonough went out to and interview the family and walk through those little
Oh, yeah, the
holes and stuff,
house. Yeah.
I was just like, this is fucked up. Like, this is
Oh, was it awful, wasn't
why.
it?
Yeah, I was like, there's no way I'm watching this because there's never going to be justice here because the cops have turned their head. And
Yeah.
when I realized that had happened, that they turned, that something is so corrupt there that the
Mhm.
cops are ignoring clear signs that something really did happen bad to that little girl.
To the little girl, yeah.
You're never going to get the truth. And I was like, I'm not doing this with
Just,
them. I'm not going
yeah.
down this rabbit hole.
Watch that from day one.
Yeah.
It was
So if that
unbelievable.
came up again, I would be asking questions that you guys already figured out from the beginning, because I haven't, sat there and watched it and tried to figure it out. You know what I mean?
Oh, that's a
And
million and one ways, Lee. It's just so sad because it's the background as well of what's being done with kids. He's still just trying to sell them for drugs. So you've heard so much. Then she'd abused her other children. She
mhm,
couldn't see them. So you're thinking, so did she batter her to death? You're thinking all kinds. Did she get sold? Did she get battered? You just don't
yeah,
know.
you
But she's
just.
adamant someone must have come to that house and took her from down
Hi,
the basement.
Joni. Yeah,
Hi, Joni. It's saying here that Coburg is saying that the trial is scheduled to begin June 2nd.
no, the trials
Pre-trial
get.
motions and hearings continue, with the prosecution and defence presenting evidence and arguments June 2nd, the trial is scheduled to begin.
No, I don't know where that's coming from, but that is not.
Google.
Yeah, no. Well, Google got it wrong because
Yeah.
if you go to the Idaho judicial page,
11th of
it's the
August,
11th
isn't
of
it?
August, and at the end of July is when they
30th of
start
July, yeah, when they start, yeah.
jury selection.
I've just
Right.
seen that there. I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah. So I don't know. Sean, I didn't see Sean in chat. Aloha,
Yeah, he's
Sean,
here,
our
Sean.
beautiful, beautiful Hawaiian friend.
So he's
I
lovely, isn't he?
Oh, we love Sean here. Barbara, hello,
Hiya,
love
Bob.
bug. I hope Barbara got everything figured out with her banking. Gosh, she's going through the ringer with that.
Oh,
Somebody
God.
trying to steal her identity.
Oh, terrible.
Yeah,
Did you get it sorted, Bob?
I hope you did. That's why she had to leave chat yesterday. She had to go to the bank. And the only reason I'm
Apparently it
saying
happens
that,
a lot in the States. Who
sure
was
it
I
does. I
talking
mean,
to?
somebody's using my Apple ID.
I know, wonder who that is. And all
I
little,
don't
like,
know. Mm-mm.
for like $8 and
Four
10 and
four
15
dollar
and all. What's
$4.99
all to
here,
do with that?
9.99 there. I know.
Yeah,
Listen,
that's terrible, like.
I got I got a message from him today. You know, and it said
Oh my
I was
God.
asleep when I got it and I opened it up to tell him I needed some stuff from the
Called you the
store.
cunt.
He said our credit score has gone down 9 points.
Oh,
And I was like, "Wait, what?" And so I'm thinking it's because of the shit I done. Oh my god. If that's the case, then I'm
I
gonna
think
have
he's
to
telling you to make you feel guilty so you
No,
don't know.
no, so I asked him, I'm like, "What the hell?" So somebody stealing my Apple ID made our credit score go down 9 points, and he's like, "No." He said, "It went down 9 points because I paid off the damn Capital One card." I was like, "Oh, oh." Which means if he
I hope
paid
he never
off the
finds
Capital
out.
One card, that's why he was all into the business of the checking account. He was like, "Where the fuck is this money going?" No, I'm
I
letting
can
him
just
think I
about
don't
go
give
for a
a
debit
shit.
card. I've got a clue with all that shit.
I don't have a debit card. I've never owned a debit card a day in
It's a
my
good
life.
job, isn't it, Lee?
Huh?
It's a good job.
What?
You haven't got a debit card.
Well, I just never knew how to use it. I was a checkbook girl, and I
Oh
was
my
like, "What
God,
do I
the
need a debit card for?" You
easiest
have a
thing in the
debit
world.
card. No,
The easiest thing. You don't
why do
want one,
I need
don't get one.
I don't need one. He's got
Because if,
one, so I'll just use his shit.
oh, let's hope he doesn't
And
find out.
and when I worked, I just got hard copy checks. So
Yeah.
I went and cashed them. None of my shit
But
went
that's
into
the
the
last
bank.
time I went to the bank. I used to check. That's how long it's since I've been.
God, Maggie. So yeah, credit fraud and all this fraud is going around everywhere. And let
Oh
me tell
God,
you,
isn't it?
someone's got my Apple ID, y'all, and I don't know what the hell's happening, but I bet you it'll never happen again. Something miraculous is taking place in our house where whoever's
I
got our
can't wait for you to
card,
get a phone call.
girl, it ain't gonna happen. Don't you wish that on me? Could you imagine explaining to your husband, I was playing a game, see, and I couldn't get out of this level, see, so I bought some coins. Oh my God, that's terrible. Who does that? Someone with a real problem for a whole month and I got caught. Shit. Damn it. I can't get away with nothing. I either tell
Oh,
on myself or he figures it out.
oh, you're
Damn it.
sounding funny there.
Oh,
No, you know
it's
what?
because
Tough.
it's because I went out further than the back porch.
Oh, you're
But
all nice. Oh, Bob
um
has got to start from the beginning. New phone,
oh,
new SIM card, and new email. Oh,
Miss Barbara.
and how often does this happen to you? How many times has it happened to you, Barbara?
She's been
Because
going through this for a
RC told us
while.
he's happened to him loads of times, didn't he?
Yeah. It's happened to us where you get a call that somebody's using your card because they can tell if you're in New York State and I live in Indiana, you know what I mean? And there's these big charges that you don't normally make, then
Mm.
yeah, they put a freeze on it and they'll call.
Well, do you have
Um,
to go into your say you get something now? Do you have to go into your bank to approve payments?
No. So
See, we've got that now.
what he does is, I think when that's happened before, he just would cancel that debit card, and then he would dispute it, and of course they would give the money back. And
Mhm.
then, because we're obviously not there, but he's got a thing on there now, like when we go out of state, um, and there's any charges out of state that are put on our card or out of the country, they automatically don't accept it.
Right.
It'll decline it
Well,
right
this
away.
just says, go to your banking app and approve the payment. So obviously you've got to go in with pins and fingerprints and all the rest of it to approve the payment, which is a good
No,
thing.
I've never even heard of that.
Mm.
I I just, I think that's how he does it, and then I know whenever, like, we go on vacation or whatever, he's like, "Remind me to call the bank so I can let him what states to approve the card in." Um, he usually remembers because I don't remember shit. I'm like, "Write it down, remind yourself. Can't
Mm.
remember my own name, and you want me to remember something about money? I'm over here trying to play a damn game, beat the level."
Believe it.
Biggest
I had
secret
just
in
come
my
out for
marriage
you.
right now. Biggest secret in my marriage right there.
Oh my God.
And I'm going to the grave with that one. There's
You
no
might
way I
not,
could tell that man.
'cause I
I am.
reckon the fella's gonna ring him back next week and tell him.
Better not. Better not. I will drive to the airport on a plane, get to India, and choke that man out. Nobody's allowed to bust me out. You don't ever talk to my
She
husband
terrible,
beefcake
like
again.
the carpet, she's let him
Oh,
rant onto the bank, rant onto the carpet fella.
yeah. And they came out and they checked my carpet and took pictures of the vacuums.
Well, Barbara
Shit.
said it's never happened before with a card. Thank God, Barb. Let's hope it doesn't happen again. Get face recognition. Get that on your phone if you can.
See, I don't even do that because my face recognition would have a middle finger in it.
Oh, so would
Terrible.
mine. Oh, who's that, Newt?
Yeah, there's the guy next door who I think just moved back in with his wife. Newt just saw him outside.
So little girl's still not
Oh my
drinking
god.
properly and all
Honey,
that.
no. You know what she ate today? Just I was like, what is going I was trying anything to get her to drink something because she quit. Now she's
Oh,
not drinking the milk water anymore. Now she's not drinking the
what's
water
milk
anymore.
water?
It's just where I add milk to the water to make her drink
Right.
it.
I didn't think
Lu
you could give
You're not
dogs
s
that.
well, you're not supposed to. You can give it to them as a treat,
All
but,
right.
like, when they're this far into
Just a
pregnancy,
little
you're
bit,
not
yeah.
supposed to give it to them because it can mess up their labor because their body is busy making the
Well,
calcium.
don't give them it.
Well, I have to get her to drink something, so guess what? I was like, "She loves frozen green beans." I didn't have any frozen green beans left, so I had, what do you call that mix? California mix where it's got
Oh shit,
the
Leanie, I got to oh my God, I forgot to check out on my shopping. Oh, it's just come to me.
the
I'll have to go and
fuck are you
check out. I'll be 2 minutes.
Okay.
Sorry.
Anyways, it's all right. I'll finish telling chat. You can rewind it. So little I didn't have any more frozen green beans left. So I had the frozen California blend, which has the cauliflower, carrots, and broccoli. Y'all, I'm not lying to you. She ate a whole bag. And it's got water in it, right? Because they're frozen. So that's right now how I'm getting. I was like, well, damn. Because I read up that some dogs when they're going through this, they go off their water and drinking and stuff like that, and she doesn't even want broth. So they're like, "Give her ice cubes." And she does like ice too. Newt hates it. Oh my god, you should have seen Newt because he's got to have whatever she has, right? So he tries so hard and he hates vegetables. And he came over there and he knew I was giving her vegetables. He could smell them, but he still wanted one. Y'all, he set it on the floor and just laid down and stared at her like, "What the hell are you eating?" Like, that's nasty shit. But little girl likes stuff like that. And I just noticed she ran back in and got her a couple drinks of water. So that's a good thing. She does it here and there, but struggling, like, to get her to eat. The morning really is the worst for her. She don't want nothing to do, it doesn't matter unless it's meat. If I cooked up a ribeye steak, homegirl would eat that, but anything else, it turns her stomach. But this afternoon when we got up from napping, she was hungry. So, um, but I did get that bag of vegetables down her. I mean, the whole freaking bag. I couldn't believe it. Um, down her this morning before we went and laid down. Anyways, sorry, I'm out here toking on this cigarette, watching the world pass me by. All right, let me get back to chat. After I get my coffee out. All right, let's see. If you have some canned green beans, give her the juice out of the can. I don't normally buy canned vegetables. I didn't think about that, but I'm willing to try anything. Beefcake is buying on the way home chicken noodle soup and vegetable beef. And so I'm hoping she'll drink that because she won't just drink regular broth. But anyways, back to this Koberger stuff. I think everything that he did not make a ruling on yesterday, you guys, he is going to be put in. Well, he did say he was going to be putting it in writing, which means that it will show up on the judicial page. I say I probably won't look for it until Monday, but of course I'll be stalking the damn page to see if anything comes out in it. And things are just going to go. The hope is that the judge is just like, look, you had and have a responsibility to this case over all others. This is a death penalty case. You took it on 2.5 years ago. It's plenty of time, and we're going to go with it. That's not our problem. To keep giving you more time because you can't get it together, and while you're accepting other work, that's just, it's not right. There should be some kind of law against doing that. Yeah, she will eat. Well, we don't use ice here. So we only have ice whenever we have company, and the refrigerator that came with the house wasn't an ice maker refrigerator. And Beefcake wanted to go buy one, and I was like, "Why?" I said, "We don't use ice." He said, "Because whenever we have company, then we don't have to go buy a bag of ice every time." I was like, "I don't mind buying a bag of ice. We're not buying a $1,000 refrigerator just because it makes ice. We don't use ice." So because of that, I don't have it in the house. Because I haven't had company, obviously, but maybe I'll have Beefcake get a cup of it and bring it home and see. But she usually loves ice. It's like a treat to her. And I've been watching her gums, pressing on her gums, making sure and checking her nose, making sure she's wet. So she's not dehydrating. The chicken and rice I usually make it really, really soupy. Plus, rice has a lot of water in it. So I've been just adding water to it. But I think she went off chicken and rice yesterday, I noticed. So I gave her a peanut butter sandwich, which she will eat. She loves her peanut butter sandwiches. Um, and you would think because she ate a peanut butter sandwich, she would go and drink water, but she won't. So I stopped that. So I am watching her. If there's one second that I feel like she's dehydrating, I will definitely have her at her doctor's. So it's just one of those things that some dogs go through. One of those things, she sleeps all the time. It's normal pregnancy It just doesn't normally last this long in most dogs that it's lasted with her. So, I don't think she's liking pregnancy that much. Plus, she doesn't understand what the hell's happening to her body since it's her first. So, we'll see. So, they said they cannot say psycho or psychopath. Well, remember when um, they were talking about that? The judge asked her, been um has he been evaluated for that? And I could swear that there was something that he asked about the evaluation of something. And she said no, he had not been evaluated for certain things. And then he said, well, if there's no proof, then no, they can't use that
He
term.
said, but he wasn't diagnosed at that time.
Oh, okay, I gotcha. It's a lot to remember, right? It's a
It
lot,
is.
and then
Loads of terms I didn't understand, but I felt great because when I went to the group, there was loads of people saying the same, but they had someone there that was explaining it to them.
mhm.
So that was good.
Did
Someone
you
who knew.
see on any of the Facebook groups? I saw in one early this morning, where I guess the woman who was sitting in the back in the um where where just the regular people come in to see. She was sitting in back and she was wearing a sweatshirt and jeans, and I noticed her right away because I kept noticing that she would turn around to somebody and they'd be laughing, and I thought, "God, that's just weird. Why is she there and who's she
No.
with? What's the deal?" Well, they had posted a screenshot because by all account, and you could see it in the screenshot, she actually put her fingers together and made a heart to the camera. Well, she's sitting right behind Koberger. So
Mhm.
if you see
Oh,
that
that might be
on
on our the picture I've put on. Let's see if we can see which one it is.
yeah,
I've got to go into my bank to approve this payment, Lee. Bear with me, please. I'll put it back
that's
up now,
okay.
see if you can see.
Yeah,
Are
no,
the
because it's
writings over it? I've got one.
and
Oh,
she's not there. So what had happened was she said that, so they screenshotted it, right? And, I guess the Goncalveses had actually seen her do it. I don't she says that they were on so because people know who she is. And so she was trying to defend herself that she had actually made the heart sign to her son who knew that she was going to be in the courtroom that day. But I can understand why people got upset about it and the Goncalveses got upset because I mean this isn't a freaking even I don't know, a robbery. This is a death penalty. 4 victims were brutally murdered. Why would you sit there and I mean, if your son's go what you have to shout out to your son from a death penalty case? I mean, it just makes no sense. I don't get it. But that was her excuse by why she had done what she done. And but if you didn't hear her side of the story, what does it look like? She's sitting on the side of Brian Koberger, and the way the camera's angled, she's actually behind him. And she throws up this heart sign to the camera. So my first thought before I read what was going on with that was that was she saying I love Brian? Because there's some crazy fucking people out there, you guys, that fall in love with these people. And so that's the first thing I thought until I read through what was going on. And then she was actually on the page and she gave the excuse of she was actually given, the heart sign to her son who knew she was going to be in court. Well, by all account, Christy and Steve Gonsalves, I guess that happened in the morning session, and they had seen it. And they told the bailiff when they went to lunch. Well, when she walked outside, there were 5 officers, uh, waiting for her outside because it's against the law to throw any kind of signals or use gestures in courtrooms. And so needless to say, I was wondering why I looked for her after lunch because I'm looking behind to see who's there to see if I could see any family members sitting anywhere. And also to see if there's any YouTubers in the room yet, right? And I'm always looking for Nancy Grace to show up or
That's what I
Brian
was
in
looking
or
for,
something.
YouTubers.
Yeah, so you always do. So I noticed that after lunch, she wasn't there anymore, but that's what had happened. So
I'm
she kinda
looking now.
blamed Christy Gonz she said that when she walked outside, that Steve just looked at her. The 5 police walked up to her and asked her about it, and then she said Christy Gonzalez gave her the meanest look that anybody's ever given her. Well, damn, I think I wouldn't just be giving you looks, I'd be giving you words
Mm,
because this isn't fucking funny. I
no,
mean, my
that's
kid was
fine.
slaughtered and you're gonna throw a heart to whatever you're throwing it to? Save
Yeah.
that shit for your page or your socials, you know? But yeah, it's screenshotted all in those groups now. It's just people have no decorum. I would be so embarrassed. Let me see if I could find it, Maggie.
Go on,
Hold
Lee.
on just a second.
I've just been going through my screenshots now because I was making thumbnails. So I thought I might have got something, but no, I haven't got anything. And yeah, he's got apparently as well, he's got someone who's in love with him. I'll show you the picture. Hold on.
Oh my god, really? I didn't know that.
Ugh, I'll have to turn Barbara's comments up so you can see it. Where's the comments gone? Yeah, Brittany Hislop is in love with Brian Koberger.
Oh my god.
Mm,
It took him going to
what's wrong
jail
with
to get
them?
a woman.
What's wrong with them?
Um,
Infatuated by him, apparently.
I can't find it. It's not on regular Google News. It was on Facebook and all the groups.
I'll have a look now. I'll see if I can find. I mean, you'll find it before me, but
Yeah, it's just the picture sitting in the background of Brian. Oh my God. Really? Well, she looks like a fruitcake herself, and not in a good way that we're fruitcakes. I
I'm
mean,
sure
just
it said there was someone else before him.
oh, I'm gonna have to. What is she? One of those serial, in
She
love
must be
with?
lunatic.
Yeah, yeah, because
What is wrong with these people? How
there's
can they
actual women that only love
be
men that run
attracted
the bars.
to somebody who's slaughtered people like that? How can they be attracted? You'd be terrified.
They just live on the edge, I
Crazy.
guess.
Tell you, everyone can get someone. I tell you now, doesn't matter. There's
Yeah, but
always someone out there.
too bad it's after he went to prison or went to
Mhm.
jail.
Well, he's out there now, isn't he? So all these lunatics are seeing him.
That's just crazy. She looks like a straight up dumbass.
Mm. And this one as well. So, because we were wondering what hand he
Right.
used, because we were thinking about that, weren't we? And then
Mhm.
seeing that, so I thought, all right, well, there you go.
I was actually watching him write in court yesterday. And
Oh,
is
did
it
you?
yeah,
See him move, Leonie?
I said, Maggie, he's right-handed. I said it in chat, but you probably won't read in chat
Oh,
because I was
yeah.
watching him write. But doesn't he write I have left-handed people in my family. My daughter's even left-handed. To me, he
My
holds
mum's
his
left-handed.
hand. Doesn't he hold his hand like he's writing with
I
his
think,
right hand? But
yeah,
is he
I think
not
he's holding it awkward.
Yeah,
But
that's what I
but
thought too.
sometimes if he is on the spectrum or whatever, the pens are hard for them to hold. If he
Okay.
has got the text, if that is the case. So I do know that, but he does. It looks like he's awkward with the pen. It's like not the right hand he should be using.
Yeah, it
Who
looks like
knows?
a
Who knows?
left-handed held, but right, JB, it doesn't look normal. Barbara says these people are a whole new breed of mental. I agree. JB
Mhm.
says, "Did y'all see the case where the woman went to visit her husband conjugal and he strangled
Yeah,
her
he
during the
strangled her.
visit?" I heard
She
about that.
she married him. She met him when he was in prison for murder. And on a whatever it's called, I can't say it. That visit anyway. He
Conjugal
murdered
visits.
her.
Mhm.
So there you go.
Crazy ass people. Lizzo
Yeah.
said, "I read somewhere today that he was left-handed." Well, I watched him in court
Oh.
yesterday, and he was writing with his right hand because I put it in chat, and then you see that one. Maybe he's
Oh.
ambidextrous, because my daughter, could do both. She's naturally left-handed, but, she has broken her left arm before, so she had to write right-handed. She can do both. Now her
I
handwriting
can write with
is
my left hand, but not as good as me right. Do you know what I mean? But my mum
right.
was left-handed.
Yeah, C can write both sides, but do you know, uh, she does everything else except for writing with her right hand, like,
Really?
left-handies usually eat with their left
Yeah,
hand, that's their dominant hand, so that's what they grab to unscrew
yeah.
things. No,
And she doesn't?
she does not. She does not.
Wow.
Everything else is right-handed, and here's the other thing that's weird, my oldest son is, is completely right-handed, never shown any signs of being left-handed, but yet he shoots his gun left-handed. When he goes hunting,
Oh.
he's a left-handed shooter. Is that not weird?
Yeah, it is. So they've
And
all got that yeah.
yeah, and I remember his dad whenever he was teaching him how to, use a rifle to go hunting and stuff, he would get so angry with him, and I think maybe I don't know, but he used to look over because his dad, of course, was having him hold it right-handed because he's right-handed, and
Mm.
but he would put his whole face over the the gun so that he could look through it with this other eye. And his dad was like, "Boy, you're gonna get hurt. Don't do that. Why are you doing that?" I remember him just always fussing at him. And then
Mm.
even whenever he had to go for hunter safeties course and we put him through gun safety courses and all, they always talked to his dad and they would tell him, "Why does he have vision problems?"
So
Is
none of
that
them
why
picked up that he was left-handed?
he's not left-handed
He's
at
not
all.
left-handed.
He just shoots.
Oh,
So once he got
I get
away
you.
from his dad and started being able to go on his own, he just started shooting
Just did
left-handed.
he?
That's what comes naturally to him.
Oh,
But he's right-handed.
he's
He's never
right-handed, but he done
yeah,
it with his left.
mhm, yep.
Oh, that
Miss
is
Barbara's
strange that.
yeah, Miss Barbara is left-handed, Joni's left-handed. Special people are
They're all
left-handed.
lefties.
Sunshine says that her granddaughter can write with her right and left hand. It's weird. I remember, so my first husband, whenever my daughter was born, and your first signs are like handing them crayons and stuff, and they're
Yeah.
coloring just on walls and shit. Well, she was using her left hand. Well, he had me convinced that there was something wrong with her head, that it's not normal. So he's like, "Don't let her do that. Put it over in her right hand." So I was like, "Okay." So every time I'd see her with a crayon or color pencils, I was like, "No, put it in this hand." And somehow I'd always find it in her left hand. And he used to get so mad at me and her for doing that. And the other thing was, when I hear about autistic people that one of the first signs is they walk on their tippy toes. Well, that was another thing. All of my kids walked on their tippy toes, but they got in trouble for it when they were babies, and I got in trouble for not allowing it. And so finally, after I don't know how long he just got on to me about making sure she was right-handed, not letting her walk on her tippy toes, no sucking the thumb, no, oh my God. Um, she had some kind of well baby appointment, and I talked to the doctor about it. I was like, "Look, I think she's left-handed, but my husband doesn't want her writing with the left hand. She has to write, he wants me doing this." I was like, "But I don't always catch it. I don't know how to switch it." And he says, "Oh my God." He said, Do not try to mess with that child like that. He said she will get
Mm.
thoroughly, like, what word did he use? Where her brain is in that developing stage, and it will totally, like, um
Confused, I totally,
confuse
wouldn't
her and mess up her brain growth
it?
because,
Mm.
at a different level because we were messing with what comes naturally
Natural,
to the
yeah,
human to her human being as her being a separate individual. He said, so when you're changing it, she doesn't understand that her brain's telling her to do this, but her parents are telling her to do that. And she's just all kind of conflicted and scared she's going to get in trouble. And she's,
yeah.
he said, you're just,
She'll be
he said,
going
there's,
against what she comes natural to her.
and he
She'll
told me, he said, there's no difference between a right-handed or a left-handed person. They can all write. They all use their brains. They're all they can be still be whatever they want to. It doesn't hinder them. And he said, you need to have your husband come and visit me and let me talk to him through this because you're really gonna
mm,
mess her up psychologically doing this. Don't do it. And he's like, "Leave her alone, she's a child, everybody walks on their tiptoes, they're filling out balance, what they can
mm,
do." He said, "Now if he's going to school, playing basketball, running on his tiptoes, like I do know a kid that did that," he said, "then we need to talk about some things." He said, "But she's a baby, she's not even 3 years old yet, she's
oh,
exploring her body, and let her do that, that's what she's
yeah,
supposed to do." And so I went home and I told my ex-husband, I was like, "Look," he said, "we're gonna screw her up psychologically." And he's like, he was so pissed off at me, Maggie. And he's like, "I'm not
really?
fucking go." Yes. He never said another word to me about it, but
Oh
uh
God,
or to her
why?
about it, but he would not go to the doctor and talk about it.
So we thought
Uh-huh.
that it made it different that she did those things and he
Yeah.
didn't like it, yeah.
Mhm. Yeah.
Mm, oh,
I think
it's
left-handed people are much more creative. My
very
oldest daughter
talented as
who
well.
yeah, she's left-handed, and the things that she thinks of is mind-boggling to me.
Mm,
Just the way her brain works and the way that she works things out differently than I would, the way that she is creative with her home that I wouldn't have thought to do certain things, the way that she cooks. It just is all very, very much like that. And I could y'all imagine had I not brought it up to the doctor, but I figured it was the right thing to do because if something was
yeah,
wrong with
well, it
my
was.
baby, I wanted,
Because if you're worried, I mean, you're bound to do stuff like that when you
yeah.
notice things
And I
and,
think he just thought that I was
at
going
least he
against
told
him.
you to just leave it, because
Wild
otherwise you could have
Angel,
carried on
hello.
without thinking you were gonna do any harm,
Yeah, but
which is just a concern.
yeah, I mean, because
Are you
if
wild angel?
there was seriously something wrong with her, then I wanted she was young enough to let's fix it, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
But it didn't turn out the way he was telling me it was gonna turn out, and that doctor wanted to speak to him, and he never fucking went in
no, we
there,
won't go. No,
and just
because he
annoying.
thought he knew best.
Yeah,
So,
he thought he couldn't be told, and then,
yeah,
when there was an actual doctor who said, "Don't mess with that youngin, leave her alone."
I think men are in denial a lot of if there's something different they spot with the kids.
Yeah, but Maggie,
Aleph was
this
the
is
same.
yeah, but
It's
Maggie, you know what, though? What I have to say to that is, I remember when baby Chow was a baby, and I inoculated I got my kids all of their shots, never
me
questioned it, it
too.
was just something that was done,
Yeah.
I did it, they're doing it, blah, blah, blah. Well, then when baby Chow comes along, Beefcake is like, "I have a real problem with us giving
Mm,
him shots." There is some, uh, studies that are showing that some of those shots may cause autism.
autism, yeah.
And I was like, "Well, there are some studies as well that says if they don't have those shots, the chances of them dying or being, um, disabled by polio is a real thing." We've
Mhm.
had presidents. And, but you know what? He's the one that he would go to every doctor's visit with baby Chow. He was always a hands-on dad. He's the one that brought it up to his doctor. He and that doctor sat for 45 minutes face to face, like with my husband, talking about um, uh, shots for kids. And he's like,
Yeah.
I'm not here to dispute that, some people have adverse reactions. He said, and I'm not here to dispute that, science is pointing
Mm,
towards that some of those may be a culprit in the autism that we're seeing running rampant amongst kids now. He said, but if you had a child, would you rather have put a child away for or put a child in the ground for a childhood disease that could have been prevented by a shot,
mm,
or would you rather have an autistic child who's living, but you have prevented them from dying of a childhood disease? And that shut my
yeah.
husband up
Straight
because
away, yeah.
and I appreciated that doctor. I mean, he wasn't for it. He said, "Look, this is your choice. It's a choice now." And he said, "I'm not here to talk you into it. I'm not here to talk you out of it." He said, "But I much rather would have to deal with you sitting here in front of me and us trying to figure out a plan for your autistic child than for me to
Yeah.
get the call to go ahead and retire your child's record because he passed from a childhood illness that I could have prevented by giving him a shot."
Oh,
And Beefcake, y'all shut the hell up. That was
oh,
it for him. He was right.
yeah,
He was right. And so at least Beefcake, he was worried, he was scared, he wasn't sure, but he's the one that talked. Why couldn't my first husband, go and be a real man and
yeah,
talk to another man about his worries about my left-handed baby?
mm, yeah,
Is I mean, that doesn't that just show, some men fight to be right, and sometimes you're just fucking wrong.
yeah. And fucking doctors get it wrong as well. I remember taking
Right.
Ryan to a child's hospital because he walked in on his feet, like almost on the insides of his ankles. Couldn't believe it. He was 2, and he made him walk along this long carpet in the clinic.
Uh-huh.
And he says he's 2 years old. He said he's still developing. He'll be fine. He said no, he'll be absolutely fine. So when you're seeing it as time's going on, you're thinking, oh, he's developing. And when we went away one year, and he had flip flops on, little sliders, and he was walking in front of me, and they were so bad. And I said, you need to go and get your feet looked at. And when he went, it was just before he was 18. And they said to him, this fella was retiring. And he said, I'm retiring from here. I've been here, blah, blah. He says, and I've never seen feet so bad. He says, and I cannot believe that they let you go when they did.
Wow.
They said, so he has to get special insoles that go
Because his
in his.
ankle's already set?
He did already. He said
Mm.
there's be all kinds of operations involved in that now, and of course Ryan wouldn't even hear of that. So he has to wear this insoles in his trainers,
Oh,
and
bless
at
him.
first it was really uncomfortable for him, because his feet was standing normal,
Right,
and it was,
mhm.
but now it's more uncomfortable now without them.
Well, sure.
So
Just
he can get 3 pairs of them a year, off the NHS. He just goes and gets them 3
does
times a
his
year for
ankles
free.
ache a lot because of the way
His
that they're
knees.
sh
He says
Oh,
his
his
knees.
knee?
It's his knees, yeah. He says it's his knees that hurts a lot. But he goes running every other day, goes to gym and stuff like that. So, but he does feel it because when he was younger and his dad had taken him for walks and stuff like that, he always complains that his knees hurt him. Then when we were getting him assessed anyway for autism, and it
Uh-huh.
took literally years, he was forgotten about, and, they said he's got a is it what is it called? Joints, hypermobility, is it?
I don't know. I don't
What's it
know.
called? Al, what's it called? What he says, Ryan's got the hypermobility. What is it called? The hypermobile joints. like he can bend his fingers back and
Oh,
like
wow, really?
yeah, he can go so far with
Double
his fingers.
jointed stuff?
Not double jointed. It's just the oh God, she was doing stuff with him and that's what they said. But they said that also comes with the autism is like an umbrella. It's never just Asperger's or autism. It's an umbrella of things. It's never just one. So they class it now as ASD because it's all kinds. But that's part of that as well, and it's
Lunch lady said
coordination.
hyperextended, and Lizzo says Ehlers Danlos. I've heard of that before.
I haven't got a clue. Also hypermobility because we're like, oh God, and is coordination when he was like 4 or 5. If they were playing water in school or with sand, he dreaded it with him 'cause he
Uh,
jumped up the wall.
Lunch lady says her hips are double jointed. My jaw is,
Oh
and
God.
so are my thumbs. But J Brad has that as well. She says she has hypermobility, which is what
What's
Lizzo
that?
was saying.
Why is
It's
Sandler?
it's what Lizzo was saying. Ehlers Danlos is what
What? I've never
JB
heard of
has,
that.
and it's been. She says I'm bendy. That's why I'm
Yeah,
disabled.
and yeah. Oh
I like
God.
what Sean says up here. Sean also said, and I have to agree to an
Where's
extent
that? Let's see.
with what Sean said. It was his last message. I can't. Um,
Is it the underage little
yes,
ladies?
yeah. I want to put that out there, especially since there's mainly mothers here. He
Yeah,
says underage ladies are not appropriate for any man to inspect, even if they're a male doctor.
yeah,
Um, what says you guys as mothers? I as mothers of daughters, I tend to agree to a certain extent of that. I would never let I wouldn't want I I I didn't want once my daughters reached us, past the toddler years of them seeing a male doctor, because my daughters have I always taught them modesty and not to let, not to be they
yeah,
knew,
yeah.
and it made them uncomfortable because, doctors have to pull up their shirt in the
Oh
front,
God,
touch
yeah,
their rib
all
cage,
can
their
yeah.
chest, and it made them highly uncomfortable. So they were always like, please just get us a
Well,
lady if we got to do that. And definitely a lady if they were having any kind of lady test, pap
yeah.
smear, shit like
Well,
that.
how were you though, Lainey, as a child? Did you just go in and see your doctor without thinking anything? Because I did. And my mother mustn't have questioned it because I don't remember anything. It's only
Well,
now. If I had a young child now, the way I've been on the internet and heard more and seen more, that now I'd be watching every move.
I wasn't given my parents nor I was really given the when you're in the military, you don't get to choose a doctor. You go to the clinic where the doctors are all military, and whoever's available
No, but I
gets
mean, when you were young, I mean, I know you were only young when you ended up marrying, but say when you were about 7, 8, 9, 10,
never
and you
bothered me.
you don't think about it, did you?
Mm-mm,
And
no,
did your mum ever say, "No, you watch if and don't let him"?
no. I
No,
wish
because
they had, because they probably could have figured out that I was being abused. But it was something that wasn't talked about. It was taboo.
yeah, well, it
Yeah.
was. Yeah, it wasn't supposed to be talked about. You couldn't talk about it. That's
Mhm.
what I mean. It was we never to us. It I don't even know if I'd known if anything was happening to me at that point. It's just, but we never ever thought about it now because we're so aware of what's going on out there. If I had a little girl now or a little boy, I'd be watching every move.
Well, I will say this for women, a lot of women like me, and I would prefer when it comes to female things like having babies or pap smears,
I asked for a woman.
I always ask for a male.
Do
Always.
you? I asked for a woman.
In fact, my doctor, he knows me in and out, mister. The only thing I've ever been uncomfortable with is every time they touch my boobs. I hate it so much because they're so ugly and
'Cause you
disgusting and
hate your
huge. Yes,
boobs.
I'm so embarrassed. But
Yeah.
anything else, I'm like, "Oh, you need to see my hoo-ha? Hold on. Hold on. I'm pulling." And the reason is because only one of my 4 children were delivered by a female, and she was the most rudest because she has a hoo-ha too, right? Like, thousands of people do this every
We
day,
had
quit
this
your
very
whine.
conversation yesterday, me and I
Really?
said, yeah, well, it wasn't about having babies, it was about having smear tests, and I said the women are rootless for it,
Yeah,
and
they
that's
don't
the
care.
only time I had a male in the clinic that I went to, a face when Marina coiled, I don't know whether yous have got that, the Marina birth
Yeah, yeah,
control,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
and I swear to God, the women were the
They are
worst, and
because they think, "Well, I make it through," and they're not gentle. You
yeah,
know what I mean?
yeah.
And what what they don't have I don't know that they don't if they don't know it or they just don't have the compassion is that some women are it's painful in different areas in there. And men are very gentle because they don't have one of those. So they don't know if I touch here
Yeah,
too hard or push too hard. Let me just try to do this as gently as possible.
'cause
And
I say, wasn't it for them women if they're doing that to another
yeah,
woman.
she was the most, just like you said, the most ruthless. Wasn't not that you could be real gentle with my births. I had babies real fast, so there was no time for gentleness, but
How
she
old was you when you had your first baby, Lee?
15.
Oh, God help you.
Oh, it's all
Oh,
right.
was you terrified?
No, yeah.
Oh,
Not of being a mother,
just
of
the
having the
pain.
baby,
Yeah.
the uncertainty, oh my yeah, that. But
Was you on your own?
no, I got married after I found out I was
No,
pregnant when I was 14.
was you on your own as in when you delivered?
No, he was in there with me,
Right,
that was
okay.
during the time they took you to they took you to a delivery first you
Yeah,
had a
so you
labor
could have them
room.
with you, 'cause sometimes you
Yeah,
couldn't have them with you, could you?
yeah. So in the military hospitals, you have a labor room that you go set up in, and then when it's time to
Oh,
deliver, you go to the delivery room, and then after you deliver, you go to recovery room, then after you've recovered, then you go to your normal room. That's how it was when I was having my 3
were they
oldest
nice to
ones.
you? Were they nice? Did you find
Yeah,
the tough?
for the most part, yeah.
But she
They were
wasn't.
all military. They were all military personnel. So,
Yeah,
but with Baby Chow, he was the first hospital that was not military, and I was in the room,
yeah,
for the same room, the whole thing. I thought that was lovely. I loved it. Felt more
yeah,
homey to me and
yeah, I think
personal,
that. Yeah,
and I wasn't working with somebody different every time I changed a room. You know what I
mm.
mean?
So
So
you'd had different midwife every time?
yeah, well, the female
Oh,
was the only midwife I had. She was an actual midwife from the UK.
and how old
Um,
was she?
she was
About?
much well, everybody was older than me at the time. I was only 16.
Yeah.
So I don't know, maybe in her 30s or whatever.
Oh
But
God.
I asked her
Oh,
when I was supposed to go back for my what do you call that? Postpartum checkup.
postnat.
Postnatal care,
I know
you
what you
your
mean. Yeah,
so they could check your stitches and all that.
yeah,
Y'all, I didn't go back. The next time that dumb bitch saw me, I was pregnant again 5 months later. But
and you had to go
anyways,
to it again.
yeah, she happened to be the one that was there,
Oh,
and, I looked at her wall, and I remembered everything that happened during labor. I know her name. Her name was Doctor Rowe, and I don't know why we called her doctor because she was a midwife, but, there were pictures of these newborn babies all over this wall. My baby's picture wasn't up there that she had delivered. And I was like, "So how many of these are yours?" And she said, "All of them." And I was like, "No, how many kids do you have?" She said, "None." I was like, "This makes sense. This makes a lot of sense." That's
mm,
why you have no compassion for women. So,
yeah,
For me, a man is just I mean, they'll tell you if it's gonna hurt, like, "There's nothing to do here, but Imma be as gentle as I can and as quick as I can." But
Yeah.
if you never get a female doctor that says that shit. They're just like, plop, 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 just
I'm too
opening,
embarrassed
closing,
now
and
as have to have a
shoving
woman.
shoving it in, pulling it out, scraping it here, pushing it there. Oh my it's terrible. Don't even get a
Terrible.
kiss when they're done. I'm telling you, it's terrible.
I love the way she says that, guys. Terrible. It was terrible.
No, I just think men are so much more even the 3
They
because there
are,
were
I do agree. But
yeah.
just for the embarrassment of it, I can't. Although when they thought I had cysts and stuff like that, I had to go and a guy was doing the down there scan. So, "Are
Mm.
you sure is it okay?" And I felt terrible saying no. I went, "Yeah, of course, it's fine." And you know what? He was so gentle. He was so nice, talked me all the way through it. I was dying to cry. I was like that. "Oh, oh, oh."
Well,
'Cause I felt so embarrassed.
I would say this though, if e every hospital that I've ever been in, besides my own doctor, because I mean, y'all, I could take my doctor, I could beat the hell out of him. But anyways, uh, if you asked for a nurse to come in but I mean, I've known this man for 15 years, he's been my doctor. So there's no need for I mean, if he was gonna fiddle faddle with me, we'd already fiddle faddled and been done with it. But every other place that I've been, if it's a doctor, a male doctor examining you, then a female nurse has to be in there documenting.
Yeah, now did you? Never used to though, did they?
I don't know.
Never used
It's
no,
been
they never
ever
used
since
to.
it's
You'd
been
go in
ever
the
since
doctor
I
and you were
was
on your own.
mm, yeah, no. So, Sean says that no male, including gynecologists, should be servicing women at any time. Well, I think it's really up to the woman though.
Yeah,
Because I definitely don't want a female, doing anything down there. Belie us females are rough on each other. I'd be like, "Maggie, get your legs in the air, bitch. We all have a hoo-ha. Nobody cares here. It's only gonna take me a minute. Quit your whining." That's what women say to each other, and then we say shit like, "Ugh, people, there's already been 1,000 babies born in the US today, and you're" or we say shit like, "Oh, you're scared to get your back operated on? How many kids did you say you had?"
yeah,
We don't have any compassion for anybody because we've been through some shit. Us women have been through some shit. We've had every oracle on our bodies totally examined multiple times, prodded, shit shoved up us that never should have probably been in there. Listen, we're still getting shoved up. You don't hear us complaining?
so it looks like all the women on this page prefer a man. They are gentle, there's no doubt about
They're
it, they
so
are gentle,
they
but
are.
I just say a woman because I am so embarrassed.
Yeah, I'm not embarrassed of my hoo-ha, it just is what it is, but my
When I was
breast, oh
younger, I
my
was
god.
fine, but now I am totally couldn't let a man. I'd have to if he had to, you know what I mean? If I got in that position again where it was like, "Oh, do you mind?" I'd feel terrible saying no, but, I would prefer a woman for that reason, but a man is definitely 100% more gentle.
Yeah.
So
Joy
who
says my
else?
Joy
I'm
says
just
my
looking,
body
sorry.
is not normal. I don't have any labor or contractions. I have them normal. Wow.
Wow.
Lucky you. You're
God.
much hated amongst the population at this point, Joyce. I've had mine natural as well, but hurt like hell. Sean says, I say this as a husband, father, and a male figure. I don't trust other men. So that's okay. So that's what it really boils down to. It's not the
Yeah.
fact that you don't think that men are capable of giving this type of care. It's you as a man who does not want another man looking at your wife or your daughters. You cannot look at it as being totally medicinal um and totally uh medical reasons. You're looking at as a man that's
Mhm.
seeing the woman's parts and being totally aroused or having sexual feelings. When the truth is, I asked my gynecologist who took my 6.5 pound uterus out, I said, how do you look at your wife and get turned on? And he just started laughing. I was like, no,
I've
really, I
thought
need
of
to.
that loads of
I, I
times.
I really need to know. I mean, you look at hoo ha all day. I cannot see how you could possibly be turned on by pussy. And of course, he's laughing and told me that my primary care doctor owed him a 6 pack for having to deal with me in my mouth. But I was like, no, seriously, like I would love to. How's your sex life? And he's like, my sex life is just fine. He said, because I don't look at your hoo ha. That's what he said. He said, as being anything sexual, it is a body part like a toe. He said, all I see is a body part that I have to that this it's my job. It's what I do. He said, like working on a car, you know. He's like, just because a mechanic works on a carburetor all day, is he not in love with, his hot rod sitting in his driveway? Absolutely is. He said, I'm in love with my hot rod that gets in bed every night with me. He said, you're just a part. I was like, oh, well, that makes
Hot
sense. All
rods
right,
is
carry on. Where do you need my legs to go now, sir?
Oh my God. Look what Joni's put. A doctor at a hospital near me was arrested this week for SA. I'm peeping this week.
Oh,
What's SMGH mean
where's that at? I don't see
on the
SMG.
screen?
Oh, doctor near me was arrested this week for SA. Shaking my damn head.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, listen, I looked up about Koberger's hands, okay?
Please
Gonna
do.
read it out.
Please do.
Okay. The way Brian Koberger cups his right hand has me triggered. In this post, I will attempt to describe what I see with Brian Koberger's body language that has me worried. Specifically his right hand. I have to admit that I'm a touch triggered by what I see. In his first appearance in Idaho, after being extradited from PA like Hannibal Lecter, he wore an orange jumpsuit. This is where I think he was still in predatory mode. It's my belief this is the kind of posture he had struck inside the bedrooms. Yes, I do believe he will be found guilty. Just look at the way he leans in, as opposed to being more laid back in the shoulders for his latest appearance about the gag order. He's much more relaxed and in defendant mode. He wants to get his alibi out there. He's thinking more of the things he's being coached on rather than the avalanche of attention that fell hard on him all at once. I don't normally see this cupping form. His right hand's in both pictures, so it's showing a picture of his cupping his hands. To that, imagine if you will a K-bar knife with the blades pointing forward. Here's how that could work. The handle fits perfectly in his right hand. I assume his right hand is dominant, and this is the way he likely felt inside of the bedrooms on King Road. Dominant for once in his life, it's not hard to picture the handle in his hand with the blade pointing forward so that you can really tell the length. It's a very, oh God, it's a very worrisome thought. Regretfully, I can imagine the sleeping victims, his relaxed approach once he's inside and creeping, having entered through a back door. There was no backing out. Now, this isn't what I thought it was going to be. Do you want me to carry on? Lee, she's gone for a ciggy. With each step, he became more deliberate in his approach. At least 1 for 1 or 2 for 1. He must have thought the boyfriend was there, possibly unexpected by the stalker, and that made for 3 additional people who were murdered due to his fixation on one. Again, this is only my best guess. Brian Koberger is still innocent until proven guilty. No matter how many internet sleuths there are these days with Wi-Fi and too many social media accounts, BK has an impressive defense team that can poke holes in the tracking story the prosecution will try to hammer home. You can read more about that here. In this photo before he was arrested for the murders, Coburg displays the right hand cupping form during a traffic stop by police. He's certainly in predator mode, and his right hand does not relax like his left hand does on his left knee. So I'm looking now. Okay, okay, let me take that picture. Hold on. So I've took a screenshot of that so I can show you. His left hand on his left knee. If you were to put a K-bar in his hand, the blades would be pointed directly at his chest. Yeah, I can see that now because I'm looking at it. As with many stories, there is great irony. It's my belief he was starved for attention most of his life, getting fat in the process. He wanted positive attention from pretty girls, and maybe those girls always gave him a hard time. I don't consider him an incel in any way, shape, or form. This is about projecting rejection upon somebody else. And it just goes on a bit there about that. It's had nothing to do with what I'm fuming. Sorry. Had nothing to do with us. It was really going to go in about his hands. But anyway, I'll try and get that up and show you. So I'll have to go on mute a minute or I'll get loads of sorry guys, I'll wait for Leanie to come back. So I'm not just going, oh, you's getting a storm? It's passing, JB. And it's hailing as well. Do you know what? I'm hearing the people, I know the Aussies are going into their winter now. They've been cold the past few days. But I don't remember us having this weather for this long in April. Do you, Lizzo? We've had a couple of days, like I remember the odd weekends, it's been fabulous and then it goes dead cold. But it's getting up every day and the weather's beautiful. I don't remember in all my life it being like this in April because they say April showers, don't they? So you're getting storms. Oh God, looks like it's going to storm there where Joyce is. Get them
Um,
bad, Joyce. Sorry, Lee.
JB, I didn't know that you were storming. I'm so sorry. I just ran back up to see what you were meaning. I did not see that. I'm so sorry.
I'm just going to get this picture, Lee.
Okay. I want to ask a question of you guys and Maggie. I am not well versed at all in autism. I do have someone in my life who is completely nonverbal. I've spoken of him before. Um, he is 6 months older than baby Chow, and he's the grandson of my sister's best friend, and they have custody of him. So he's a grown man. You guys, some of you've seen pictures of baby Chow. You see how tall he is, and he's grown. He's 21. So Christopher is also 21, and he's so violent that they they have when he was younger, they had a padded room that whenever he would get violent and start breaking out windows and picking up things to hurt the grandparents and stuff like that, and the hitting and the punching and all that goes on, they would actually put him in a padded room. And I know that sounds terrible, but um, it's either do it that way or have him institutionalized, which the grandparents are not willing to do, and that's why they have custody, because the mom just simply couldn't handle him anymore, and the dad's not in the picture. Anyways, now that he's a grown man and they're older than I am, um, and they absolutely cannot restrain him anymore, and so they can't get him into a padded room. Now they turn the padded room into a safety room, you guys, where there are locks on the inside that when he goes into his rages, he actually um they go lock themselves in the room now and just wait for all the breaking and the punching walls and stuff to be over with, and they hear him crying, and then they come out of the room just for their own safety. It's the saddest thing, one of the saddest things that the cycle that goes on there, but it doesn't matter what you tell them or what kind of advice they get from doctors or whatever, they're not willing to do anything more than what they're doing, which is only to institutionalize him. So, my question to everybody who deals with autism or knows more about it than I, is that we know now that Brian Koberger is on the spectrum at some level. Personally, just from what I see, it's nowhere near what Christopher is, our Christopher. It's nowhere near that, because Christopher, uh, his grandmother used to have to go to school with him because he would fight her. It was terrible, you guys. He
Mm.
couldn't finish school. Of course not. So, I mean, Brian Koberger's has gone all the way to entering his PhD studies. So
Yeah.
we know there's a, but my question is it possible that with the autism spectrum he's on and with whatever social challenges he deals with, whatever that comes with, is it possible that he feels no remorse? But more than that, is it possible that he feels no fear? So when we're saying, how can one man go into a house to murder four, even if he just murdered one, why wouldn't he be scared enough to realize, oh my God, there's 5 cars in this freaking driveway or 4 cars in the freaking driveway. There's people sleeping here. How did he have that courage to go in there and commit these murders? A normal person like me or you, automatically our conscience
Onto
would
that
kick in
fact. Yeah.
and our our fight to flight and things like that would kick in, and we would be able to rationalize, like, this is just not a smart idea. We take the huge possibility of getting caught. So my question is, and I am not making excuses for him. I'm not. You cannot tell me that a PhD student could not um figure out how to commit these crimes and know
I think
exactly what
he's
he's
got it
doing.
very mild if he's got it.
But my question is, does he not feel fear the way that we feel fear? Does he not have the conscience that we have
Well,
that
I
would
know
say,
kids or people with autism, it's facial expressions they don't see. You don't know if like someone's sad or happy. They just or they say like they don't know. When you're joking with someone, they don't know if
right, right.
not. I'm not saying all of them, but they don't understand it's a joke. It's feelings, and I think some of them, some conditions can like be void of like emotion.
So Miss Barbara says it sounds like he has far more problems than autism, and I agree, and
Yeah,
that's been
yeah, there
proven.
will be.
But
Yeah.
won't it be interesting to hear, and I don't
I'm
care
gonna
where
look
it
that
came
up,
from,
Lee. Hang on.
but I'm curious as to, was that part of the whole thing as to how
Let's see.
us as people who could not go in and even think about doing those, even if we could figure out how to commit the perfect crime, that our conscience wouldn't let us do it, and then our critical skill thinking of, we could very well get caught doing this. It's not safe, to go and do this, and the chances of getting somebody being awake or walking out or seeing me, you know, did he not have the capacity due to autism or due to any other
I think
I'm
it'd have to be something else rather than autism because
okay.
I don't
Okay.
think, I mean, I know people with autism that that's not the case.
So they
So I
still
don't
can
know.
feel fear and
Yeah.
s and
Well, my
still
son can, and he's on the spectrum. He knows fear and stuff like that.
can he rationalize, and your son is a lot like Koberger in the instance he's on the spectrum at some
Yeah.
point, but he's very intelligent
Yeah.
and
He's intelligent.
high, uh, um functioning. He's
Yeah.
so intelligent. So
Mhm.
my thing is so he can feel fear. Can he
Yeah.
rationalize this? Like, I'm not going to do that because that's just a little bit dangerous. Like you always tell me, you're scared for him to go walk down the street because the thug's on the corner. Does he feel that rationalization of that's something that I should worry about?
He's just like, "What why would I don't know, because 'cause they'll shout over, try to get a reaction from you. You're just not able for them. Anyone on their own isn't." And he's like, "Mum, stop worrying. I don't even think about it. Not even gonna be living my life with fear."
So that sounds like a
That's what he
normal.
says. Yeah.
Yeah,
He
that
won't
doesn't
live his
sound
life
like
through fear, so he's
okay.
normal in that. It's not,
Yeah, that
it's me
sounds
that
totally.
worries
Yeah,
because he's not streetwise. That's my worry. He's not streetwise.
but I
Where
think
when you
he
play out
is.
as kids, he isn't, Leanie. Honest, he isn't. He wouldn't now because he's never been around these kids who are horrible and will throw things at you just
Does
to
he
get a
see
reaction.
does he see the good in people more than the bad?
He
Because
does, definitely.
I remember so
He
the
does for sure, 100%. He sees good. He won't say a bad word about anyone. I don't think I've ever heard him speak bad about anyone.
oh, I wished I
And
could be like
if I
that.
say something, he makes me feel disgusted. Like like he's totally disgusted with me. You think I'd
Lizzo
like
says the problem is the spectrum is so broad and presents very different from
exactly.
person to person.
Yeah.
So don't you think it would be because sometimes when I'm watching trials, you guys, and the doctors are getting up there, I'm just like, oh, for the love of God, just tell me what he's got. I'll Google it. I don't need to hear it. It just becomes monotonous. But this is one person that I'm looking forward to, and I don't care who presents it, defense or state or both. I want to hear what they see symptoms as.
Okay, so
What
I've got it
his
up here,
symptoms
Lee.
present. Go
Do
ahead,
you want me to
Maggie.
read it? It
Yes.
says, I put on it, do adults who have autism have fear? No, it's not accurate to say that adults with autism have no fear. In fact, many autistic individuals experience anxiety and heightened sensitivity to situations which can manifest as fear or fear related behaviours. Elaboration. Anxiety is common. Research indicates that a significant percentage of autistic individuals, both children and adults, experience anxiety disorders or intense anxiety that impacts their daily lives. Fear can be a foundation. Some autistic individuals have described fear as a foundation emotion, with other emotions like anxiety, rage, and depression building upon it. Sensory overload or oversensitivity can be a major source of fear and anxiety in autistic individuals. And it goes on like social anxiety, which is Ryan. Difficulties in social interactions and understanding social cues can lead to social anxiety and fear of social situations. Now, when he was younger, say 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, he would avoid, he'd do anything rather than stand and talk to someone. Now, now he will. He'll interact if someone, like he always spoke if he was spoken to, But now he'll like my neighbour go, oh, seen Ryan doing a show, and he was telling me he's doing this or he's doing that, and I go, oh my god. So he's talks, do you know now,
Uh-huh.
and a
Yeah.
lot more, and he's not as awkward
Yeah.
with it anymore. He is a lot better now than he was when he was younger. It's very, I mean, if he was, it's very mild, very
Okay.
mild.
Okay. Well,
He's
I
got a
just
lot
think
of traits, but worse when he was younger. But now, but he does recognise fear and always did.
I have heard that people that deal with autism, their sensors are much more heightened
Oh,
than
heightened, yeah.
those of so I'm not saying that as is an excuse at all for Brian Koberger. Um, in the beginning of starting all of this, I told you guys I am going to try to do it from a non-biased viewpoint, and I
Mhm.
still at some point I still try to say, well, I agree with the defense on this, and I agree with the prosecution on. I still try to do it, but you know what? When OJ, somebody said this, and I was like, you damn right. When OJ Simpson went on trial, and before he went on trial, all of us knew that fucker was guilty. And all
Yeah.
of us were proud and loud and just saying it with our whole chest, right? But now, since everybody's offended, and and you have to be politically correct or you're going to hurt
And
someone's
everything.
feelings,
Yeah.
we're not allowed to say, I think the fucker's guilty. Well, I
Mm.
just realized uh, people change. Times change. People don't. Uh, we try to accommodate more now in places that we shouldn't be accommodating at. That's what I think. But
Mm.
that's another life. But listen, you have the right to think if he's guilty or not guilty, and you have the right to state it. I don't really care. Um, but I'm not going to worry about being offensive to people, the pro burgers who think he's not guilty, and tell me that, innocent and proven until proven guilty. Yeah, by a court of law. But here, according to Leany on me on panel, Leany is going to say, I believe him to be guilty. And I'm not going to
Mm.
feel bad for that.
Yeah.
So I'm just this is the one trial that I've ever looked forward to hearing expert testimony as to how his interactions are. Now, can they be faked? Hell yeah. I think he could fake it,
Mm.
any which way that the defense is telling him, look, this is what we need this is what we need to come out of this. So you're going to have to come out of this on the autism spectrum. You're going to have to come out of this with this and this. You know what I mean? So yeah, it can be fake, but I'm still curious to see what they found because I think we've watched enough mannerisms with him.
See,
Enough
there's his hands.
yeah, but I sit like I mean, I never paid
Yeah.
attention to what my hands are doing, but
He's
I don't
saying about it being cupped. And if he had the K-bar in his hands now, the blades would be pointing up to his chest. But I don't know if that's true. I don't. I mean, we all sit different, don't we? I mean, I wouldn't say that proves anything, like.
no. And I couldn't understand why everybody was talking about the hand.
I
So
never
in
got
other
onto
words, the
it.
people that are saying that his hand stays cupped, that the K-bar the knife would be facing him. So in other words, he wouldn't be stabbing anybody but himself. Is that what they're saying?
I have no
Because
clue.
that's not the fucking case. It could mean that he's holding the K-bar down and
And
actually
it is
punching the
it
knife into
and
people.
there he's driving and he's looking at the cop and he's got like a concerned look. So he knows, he understands,
Yeah.
you know, right and wrong, and like they're making out he hasn't got a clue. He's not understanding things being put to him and stuff like that.
What?
How
And
can
did you?
if he was that way, that bad, he wouldn't have been capable of doing anything he's done in his life.
No,
It'd
no.
just be impossible.
So did you guys hear recently that one of the things that the sister talked to the investigators about. She said that, and they said it in the motions yesterday in trial. That was it yesterday or, anyways, they said that we know that Brian has a temper. That his sister's the one that said that.
Mm.
And I mean, I just firsthand knowledge, I know that, Christopher,
Is the
I call
temp,
him still a
yeah.
kid, he has a bad temper, but I don't think it's so much temper as frustration,
Mhm.
because I think that he's just so frustrated that he cannot
Yeah.
communicate what he wants to
That's exactly what
communicate.
it is. Yeah.
Yeah. So I wouldn't call that a temper problem. I call that
No,
complete and acting out
frustration.
of
Yeah.
frustration. Like, I would smash shit to you. Better fucking understand what I'm trying to say here, or this vase is going against
Mm.
damn wall. And I
Well,
bet you'll try to
this girl
understand
I
then.
know has got a little boy. He's non-verbal, and he's exactly the same. And he was starting school. They had to get him into a school, and she was so worried about him going to school because nobody would understand him.
Mhm.
It was a special school for autistic children, but it didn't have good reviews. And there was one that was really good. She was fighting to get him in, and apparently, so her nerves were gone putting him in. And as soon as he walked through the door, one of the teachers went over to him and started interacting with him.
Mhm.
And apparently, she broke down in tears because this lady understood him.
Oh,
And he
wow.
immediately took her hand and she was showing, and Rachel said she just broke down and sobbed
You know
because
what? Go ahead,
she,
Maggie. I'm sorry.
no, 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 no. She just said someone understood my child,
That's
and
got to be the most incredible feeling.
yeah, she said, his eyes see a wonderful world of, just love and happiness because
You
he was
know,
always happy.
and so he liked school, huh?
Oh, he loved it. He went in, and there was so much more that they were showing her and showing him of
Oh,
things he
wow.
could do when she could interact with the ways to understand him and what
That's
ways what he's seeing, what he
that's
sees,
precious.
because it's they see it totally different than us. And it's supposed to
Wow.
be very happy, and so yeah, she was explaining everything to her, and he was so happy. She loved putting him in school, and he loved to go in there. He'd run, and for the first time he interacted. They knew what he wanted. They understood what he'd like to see and
Mm.
things like that. And she said it was just amazing.
I just thought about, I remembered something. Um, my niece, she hasn't done it in over, um, God, it's been 2 years now. But that's what she went to school for, to work with, she has a degree in psychology and something else, and she went to work for one of the big schools here that their students are on the spectrum. And, she ended up with long-term COVID, caused a lot of problems. That's another life. But anyways, she's one person I could call. God, if I could get her up here to talk about
Yeah.
people on the spectrum. She's really shy though.
Oh,
But she did beautiful work. I mean, that was her lifelong thing, and it was because of Christopher that's why she went into that profession, and now she's disabled with,
my friend is
long-term
exactly
COVID.
the same. She does it, and she will get up, but she'd be on it forever, never get it down. But she is always working. She always goes away and conferences and stuff like that. But she does all that. So if I could ask her any
Oh,
questions if
that'd be
you wanted to,
lovely.
if you put them to me, and I'll ask her.
Okay. Maggie, can we jump in chat real quick? I can't post because 'cause I'm on, um, over here on,
Oh
2
yeah,
Chicks. But can we go up to, so we read out where Lizzo says the spectrum is so broad it presents very different in person to person. Lunch Lady
um,
says, I think perhaps everyone could be on the spectrum in some level.
everyone's got a bit. Yeah,
All right. So if we could go
let's
down to
see
where
where they are.
Lizzo is at.
So the problem, so this is Lizzo's ear, this one.
Mhm.
So I'm reading afterwards. Okay. Yeah, Lunch Lady says, I think perhaps everyone could be on the spectrum in some level. And Lizzo says, my ex-father-in-law is extremely intelligent and worked a very professional career, but he just blurts shit out and doesn't seem to realise it's inappropriate.
Mm.
Isn't that, what do they call that? Where they just blurt stuff out?
No, are you
Oh,
thinking of,
oh, what is it called?
Tourette's?
Tourette's, isn't
I
that Tourette's?
I don't think
Because there's
she's ta
different forms of Tourette's
I
as well,
I
isn't there?
the only Tourette's I know of is that they just
Swear.
repeatedly, yeah, say and they have tics. I think maybe Lizzo's talking about that maybe I mean, he's just very blunt, and he doesn't realize he
Right.
can't read the room. A lot of people can't read the room, and they're and they make the excuse they know they've got a problem, but instead of trying to train their tongue to shut the hell up, they just
Yeah.
let it fly, and then they're just like, "Well, that's just who I am, I'm blunt." Well, that's no excuse
Yeah.
to be an asshole to people, you know?
Yeah. So, be saying blessings, beautiful souls. Um, I have a lot of autism in my family, B says, and I've worked with them in schools.
Oh, wow.
I brought a child out of his anger, and from that day on, I became his person to help when he was out of control and angry.
Wow.
And then she's saying blessings to everyone in the chat.
Hello, bees, welcome.
Hello,
Bar
B.
Barbara said, "I think if they would examine any of us, they would put us somewhere on the spectrum. I have
Yeah.
depression, anxiety, and panic."
An OCD because I can't stand the tea, coffee, and sugar being messed up. Not in that order. It freaks me out if I walk in and someone has done that in the wrong order.
I totally
I
get
can't
it.
stand it. And people come in and do it deliberately, just like
Listen,
you with your shower curtain.
yeah, mhm. You know, it's funny because you know, I'm always working in the kitchen. There's always something to do in my kitchen, but I knew my OCD had gotten better because well, there were many things that I was seeing. You know, I finally got on the right medication for it, and I'm still OCD, but it's not this drastic like I used to have. You know, you guys know I have a crock on the counter that's got all my wooden utensils
Mm-hmm.
and my plastic utensils in it, right? And it's all in the same one. Well, I used to have 3 on the counter, and they weren't used for
Oh God.
sugar tea and anything like that. It was used for all the plastic had to be in one, all of the wooden had to be in another, and then the smaller one was like my whisks and my potato masher.
And if
And
it
my
got messed
nieces
up,
never got if somebody emptied my dishwasher and just threw one willy-nilly into the other
yeah.
one, I would lose my fucking mind. And my nieces used to make fun of me all the time, and when they would come to the house, every time the first thing I would always check was my damn Crocs because I knew someone fucked with my head and went in there and they would rearrange the Crocs and put different spoons in different places, and then they weren't set like big, medium, small, like the small would be in the middle or the big one would be it would fuck me up so bad. Y'all, now I've got 1 Croc. Now,
Ooh.
try to move that Croc and see what happens, okay? It cannot be moved. But the wooden and the plastic are together in the same crock, 2 different colors as well, and it doesn't bother me in the least.
Wow.
No.
So is it only in the kitchen that you're
No,
OCD?
no, no, no. No, like, when I do my carpets, they have to have
Oh, you have lines in them
I
and
have to have
everything.
lines that are going exactly like
Same way.
some people could just say, "Oh, I just want lines," and they could be vertical or horizontal. Me, it has to go the same way every time. It can't be
What do you
like
like when you go out checking doors? If it's
oh, I
locked?
used to ask people, if I could, vacuum their my kids loved me coming to their house 'cause I would ask if I could vacuum lines into their
Really?
carpet. Yeah,
You
and
like it
then
that much?
it's not that I like it, it drove me crazy to see willy-nilly marks. One time, my daughter-in-law, the kids had spilled something, and I was like, "No, no, no, I'll vacuum." And she's like, "No, I'm gonna vacuum," 'cause they all know that I have a problem. And she was like, "No," and I was like, "Please don't vacuum." She's like, "No, I'm gonna vacuum, and you're gonna be" she's a nurse. And she's like, "You're gonna be okay. You'll watch me. You'll be okay. It's gonna be fine." Y'all, she was pushing the vacuum this way, and then she'd flip around and do it that way and making X's and squares, and she was like, see, you're okay. You're okay with this." I'm like, "But I'm not. Like, I'm the minute you shut the vacuum off, I'm gonna turn it back on." She's like, "No, you're not." She said, "You'll do it after I leave, but
Oh,
you're gonna be okay. Look, the floor's vacuumed. It looks nice." And I was like, "All right, bitch, ask me for an anxiety pill one more time, see what happens." I'll be like, "No, you're okay. It's just a panic attack. No worries, honey. It's okay. Sit right there. Sit. I'll watch you breathe. It's gonna be fine."
oh,
So there's still certain things, you know what I mean? But that's how extreme it was. It was the touching the walls. I still smell every cup before I drink in it. It
do you? Oh,
Yeah, and it's embarrassing because if I come to your house, I'm gonna smell your cup, and I can't
smell.
help it. You don't
So,
smell your
Lainey,
cups?
where did this come from? Does this come from? Do you know where it come from?
What?
Hello?
Hello? I don't know what you're talking about. Where did what come from?
Where did the OCD, how did, because they don't they reckon that there's something that happened to make it OCD?
None of my family is OCD. Not my mom was an OCD, nobody was. But so when I was a kid, I didn't know what it was. I don't know if
And
I
you've
thought
had it all your life then?
all as far back as I could. Well,
Oh,
that's not true. Because I have early I can remember I'm a year and a half older than my brother. Uh, and I can remember him being brought home from the hospital. So my memories go real, real far back,
wow,
but
so it's that long?
yeah, the earliest memories I have of the OCD started when my dad had bought the house, California, and I started, uh, being sexually abused, which
Mm,
that's all I have to say about that. But I thought about that, like, why? Because I know I got, anxiety and depression.
yeah,
Some of it, I think, is a learned behavior if they can't, I think especially anxiety can be a learned behavior because let's face it, everybody has anxiety. Beefcake has anxiety.
mm,
And I remember asking him many times, like, what do you do with it? Like, don't you want to run through a wall or run out of your body? He's like, no. He's like, I get uncomfortable and I either fix whatever's bothering me or I watch TV or I go mow the lawn. He's like, it's not something I don't dwell on stuff. He said, so I think everybody is dealt a portion of anxiety.
yeah.
It's just it's one of our
Some
emotions.
gets out of hands and some
Y-
doesn't.
Right. And I think
Mm,
some of us just don't know how to deal. So I
yeah.
think with the OCD, it just kept getting worse because of trauma. So I had done some research with it because I couldn't understand that, why my
Hi, Mac
sisters
J.
Hi, Mac J. My sisters didn't have it, my mom didn't have it, I know now that my father didn't never have it. Nobody had it. I was the only person with this, and it was so bad as a child, I would have to give myself rug burns. I've told you guys that before
Oh.
on my
What was
knees.
well, what did your mum how did your mum
They didn't
recognise it?
know. No, they
No.
didn't know. But I would be we only had 1 couch and 1 chair in our living room. Of course, we had a console TV, so us kids used to lay on our bellies on the floor in front of the TV, and
Yeah.
we'd watch MASH or whatever the parents were watching, and I would have this overcoming urge, all I can explain is, like, when you're so, so thirsty that you just get that water and you cannot quit drinking, it just comes
Yeah.
and you can't stop. That's the kinda urge that would come over me every time I laid on the floor to give myself I knew it was gonna hurt, I knew it, but I
Mm.
couldn't stop it, and I didn't understand it. So I knew it was weird, and my parents would get on to me. Um, so I didn't ever say nothing. They just thought I had skit knees all the time because playing or something. It was never
Mm,
brought up. I never told them about, like, getting in the bed after I had used the bathroom, turned
mm,
off the and then gone to bed and laid there because it whatever I did wasn't right, so I had to start all over even though I couldn't pee again,
mm.
I'd still sit on the toilet, get back up, wash my hands, touch the wall, turn off the
Oh,
light, turn back on the light, and then go to my room,
yeah.
do different kinda rituals with the light
Mm,
switch, the bedding. I'm still weird about bedding too, not to this extent though, but the bedding had to be laid across my chest exactly the
oh
same spot,
god.
but I never told my parents because
No.
I didn't
You
know if I
didn't know
was
any
weird.
difference?
Right, or if everybody did it, nobody talked about it. Because
Yeah.
listen, my parents, there was a lot of shit that went on in my house, and I struggle sometimes with memories, and, there was a lot of shit that as an adult, I realized, "Oh my god, they were so fucked up." But the number one rule in our house was what happens in this house stays in this house.
Stays in the house.
We don't talk about what happens inside our house. And we didn't. We
Oh,
were scared to death. So I just thought it was one of those unspoken things that happen to people, even though you're hurting yourself, you know?
oh,
But as I got older and then I started having babies, like the need to give myself the rug burns on my knees didn't
oh
wasn't
god.
happening. But you know what did start happening? After I had had all 3 of the oldest kids, in Germany, I was having to give myself rug burns on my elbows, and I
Oh,
got so, like I was just like, "Oh, I don't wanna do
really?
this no more, I just don't wanna do it," but I never told nobody, I never
Oh,
told my family. To this day, they don't know unless they're listening to this live. Um, I I did never even tell one of my therapists that I was doing that because as you get older and you realize you're just like, "Oh my god, that's kinda sadistic." That's what it feels like to me, like
mm,
a
oh,
dirty little secret, that I was doing to myself
oh,
on purpose because I couldn't control it. And
god.
so reading up on OCD and, the rituals that you do plus the self-harm that you do, it does come from what scientists are saying now. It can come from traumas, and I
Yeah,
think because of all the trauma of, when I was a little girl and then, you know, becoming a child mother and then moving right in with another controlling
you've had your
man.
fair share, haven't you, love? Oh.
Well, I'm not saying that to be, some people
No, I
say
know
I
you're
act
not.
like the victim. I am not a
Oh
victim of
my god, who
anybody.
would say that?
If you look around enough, you'll find, a song every song that's been written about me from a certain individual calls me a victim. I'm not a victim of
Oh my
anybody.
god,
You
no,
can
you're
shove
not.
that right up your ass. I don't think I'm a victim
No, you're not a
of
victim.
anything, of anything. I share with you stuff that I
Yeah.
hope will help somebody else. Believe you me, I'm not an open book here. There's many I've never told you guys knew about my knees. You didn't know about my elbows. There's a lot of shit in my life from past and present that nobody has any idea about that I am not going to talk about. So I'm not a victim and I refuse to be a victim because
No.
that means they win. That, everything that happened to me as a kid and everything that happened, I have never claimed to be a victim or told any story that I've told, and that does piss me off.
I think you're
Uh,
amazing that you're talking about a full stop.
yeah, but so if you for 1 second think I'm looking for pity, I'm not. In
Oh
fact, I
god,
don't
no.
like when people say, "Oh, Lainey, I'm so sorry," or whatever.
Yeah.
That's not why I'm telling it. You know what I mean? I tell it
No, I know.
because there are times that something needs to be said, like now.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? And will I tell you everything? Maybe one day if I feel the need that it's gonna help somebody, but I don't need to tell everything that goes on in my life
And
or
as
has
sad as
gone
it
on.
is, it's very interesting to hear of such the extents that it can
Yeah.
take you to. You know,
Yeah,
it's
and those
unbelievable.
are Maggie, that's mild. If you ask me,
Wow.
like, when I hear about people self-harming,
Oh,
um,
no.
what I did to myself in those instances, it's so mild compared to what hell people go through with self-harming. You
Oh,
know what I
it's
mean?
heartbreaking,
Like,
really.
yeah, mine is so, like, n nothing compared to that. And it does break my heart for people, it does, and you know what? I can't even say it's a mental I don't think it's so much a mental problem as in, like, there's something it's depression or anxiety or panic or anything like that. I think it's just pain. It's just
Yeah,
you've got to it's gotta come out somewhere. So
somewhere.
sometimes it comes out
It's an outlet,
through
isn't it?
pain. Yeah,
Yeah,
because there is nobody to talk to when your family's telling you, "We don't tell anybody anything," and you just think you're gonna be in trouble,
yeah.
you
The
do
lunch
something else.
lady has said, oh gosh, we had the same rule. Don't tell our business. I still struggle with that. So much hiding everything.
So much. The whole, do as I say, not as I do. The I mean,
Oh,
the many everybody I think can look back on their upbringing, and see and hopefully none of us came with the manual on what's the proper way to raise kids. I think we just do what the best we can. And unfortunately, a lot of people parent the way that they were parent because that's the only way they know how to parent. And second of all, they don't have enough thought in their head or feeling like how it was done was wrong to actually look into it and get some help on how to better parent, you know? So
yeah,
some people say there's no way I'm gonna treat my kids or do with my kids this way because I know that was completely wrong. You know what I mean? And there are some people that say, "Well, hell, I turned out all right." I mean, I've said that before. I've spanked my children. I stand by
me
spanking
too.
my children on their butt. Um
100%.
I stand by that.
Yeah.
Now, do I want my grandchildren spanked? Hell no, don't touch my babies. But, I understand it. So do I think my parents were wrong in the spankings? Absolutely
No,
not. Do I
no.
think my dad was wrong with what he spanked me with and how he spanked me? Absolutely. Absolutely. But you have to make I think it's a conscious decision to take a look at when you become a parent, to take a look at the rights and the wrongs, the traditions. We think nothing of the beautiful traditions that we pass on to our kids, my
Yeah,
Christmas stuff, my stories that I tell them about my grandparents and my mom and my dad and stuff like that. We want to create those memories and pass on a tradition, um, but you have to be careful that what you're also not passing on to your kids is, trauma.
yeah,
And I think some people get confused with that. They're just like, "Look what happened to me, and I'm fine. You're gonna be fine too. Imma teach you a lesson."
mm,
And yes, do people need lessons taught? Absolutely. But it doesn't mean that there has to be trauma in those lessons learned. Listen, I raised 5 kids of my own, not my bonus kids, but 5. Every one of them learned lessons different ways.
yeah,
You know what I mean? One of them, you could take away, his fishing pole for a week, and he thinks the world stopped. He'll do anything in the world for it.
mm,
Another one, you don't, let her in there with her makeup and stuff. That makeup's going away. Another
yeah,
one needed a spanking for the very same thing to learn. You know what I mean?
yeah,
So, you have to figure out your kids as individuals and people, not just kids. people as individuals, all of us don't learn at the same pace with the same type of learning tools. I'm a visual learner. If you give me a book and say it's all in here, everything you ever need to know, it's right here. I'm like, fuck
Yeah.
you. Can you show me that? Just either read it to me so I can understand it, or can you show me how to do it? I bet you I'll never make a mistake with it again. We all are different. And
Yeah.
I think if people take time as young people and realize that their kids, that every human you come in contact with is very different. You treat them
Yeah.
very differently. That's that. And so I think OCD for some people like me, I can't say all because I don't know. I only know me. I think it was
Everyone's
born,
different. Yeah.
yeah, I think it was born out of trauma.
Yeah. Yeah. Probably Lee.
Hi, Josh.
Hiya, Josh. Can you join?
That's up to you. You're the one that opened up this live. I can't let him join. I don't know how much longer we plan on being here. It's up to you.
Well, I've got to get off now anyway because my husband's asleep on the couch and he's been up since 3 o'clock this morning. Well, he had to get to bed at 3, so he hasn't had much sleep because he's been working late. So it's 11:15 at night here now.
Hey,
So
Josh, I can do, let's see.
can you not control that sleep?
No,
No. Oh no,
I can't even star, and I knew I wasn't gonna be able to. I knew you, had some I didn't want you having to save what you wanted to present. So, from now on, when we do it like this, I'll have you just send me you see where it says present down there, and then you can invite
yeah,
someone to present. So what we'll
yeah.
do instead of dropping the link is you'll just invite two chicks in a pond and I can present too.
Oh right,
Or vice
okay.
versa, you're gonna have to come in on two chicks in a pond. And because I can't
Yeah,
even
we'll have to
yeah,
learn. I haven't got a clue, but we can learn. I'll learn
yeah,
anyway.
we've never done that,
Yeah.
but we need to learn
Um.
how to do that.
So
Um,
what do you want me to do? You
so
said
I
are you
will
coming back tonight?
Josh, there's a possibility I could come back tonight. If not, for sure I'll be back on tomorrow night, but there's a huge possibility that I could do a live tonight. I can't even tell you what time, so can you just have your bells clicked so I could ring them? And then um, you'll know when I'm on, and I'll open a panel and come on up. I'd love to talk to you and anybody else for that matter. But once again, let me go ahead and say goodbye on this one. And thanks you guys for being here. Thank you to the mods who keep us safe, healthy, happy here, and a great place to hang out. Thank you to those who support us with memberships each month that help us pay the bills so we can continue to go live and do the things that we do here. And thank you for those that hang out and chat and talk away and support us in
Jo-
that
Josh
way.
said, we ring his bell, Lil.
Oh, well, I'm about that. Make sure it's set, Celine. You can ring your bell. And Maggie too, because we know you love her voice. But yeah, so we don't have a channel without everybody. Maggie, you're my heart. Thank you once again for a great 2 days of lives on Coburger and everything else that we covered.
Oh,
And I love you guys so much. And
love you, Lee. And
and
I'll speak to you tomorrow, girl. I'm at a funeral in the morning, another one.
okay. All right. Well, can you quit killing the people around you, Maggie? I love you. Bye, guys.
Good night, Lee. Good night, love. She's nuts, isn't she? Thank you, according to Leanie and Maggie, and two chicks in a pond. Love you both. Thanks, Lizzo. Love you too. Love you, Josh. B, love you too, Gail. Let's see him going up this list here. See who's still here. Our Lunchy's still here. Don't know where the JB is. B's here. Mac J, Joni, Joyce, Barbara Smith. I don't know where Barbara's still here. And Wild Angel, Lizzo. I think that's it, isn't it? I haven't missed anyone, hopefully. I hope JB is getting a lovely deck built. It's fabulous. She sent me a picture. Absolutely gorgeous. She's going to love sitting out there with her little fur babies, all safe. You stay cool too, you, Josh. And I'll speak to you soon. Inspirational, take care, love. And I'll speak to you soon. All of you, love you. Thanks for coming in. And yeah, let's keep it going about Kobe because I'm so excited about it. I'm looking every day to see if there's any updates. But I always present it to Leni, she knows. I'm crap. I'm absolutely crap at it. But I do try, I really do. But I'm not as clever as her and Lizzo. They're that clever. They should be working together. And I should be down in the chat. Leni should lash me, throw me like right in the chat with all yous. And I can't even chat on this laptop. I just can't do it. Get it all wrong. Anyway, good night and God bless. I'm going to bed now. Gotta be up early in the morning. So I'll speak to you soon. Nice everyone. Good night. Good day wherever you are. And I'll speak soon. Take care. Where am I? Gotta do our little music.
Life is hard and life is wild. It can be sad or full of smiles. And every once in a while, you need a break from the mundane. So come back to see your friend, or she'll wonder where you've been. According to Leanie, she appreciates you and all that you do. You need her, but she needs you, and that's the beauty of according to Leanie. So thank you for your time. You are a friend of mine. I'll be happy to see you again on the next According to Leanie. Be good or be good at it. Until next time, love Leanie, love Leanie, love Leanie. Next time, love Leanie, love Leanie. Life is hard and life is wild. It can be sad or full of smiles. And every once in a while, you need a break from the mundane. So come back to see your friend, or she'll wonder where you've been. According to Leanie, she appreciates you and all that you do. You need her, she needs you, and that's the beauty of According to Leanie. Be good or be good at it. Until next time, love Leanie, love Leanie, love Leanie.